Are we?
Good morning, everybody.
Woohoo!
Kemper, Sika, Ken, Travis, Brewster, Stan.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you, Sam. Oh, not the 24th yet. Yes, we could. But it would be a better show. Oh no, Chief Stars are burglarized. How horrible. I'm shocked. He's not late till 5:15. Sam, you are a Ken's 5 insider.
Because somebody paid her more money, obviously. Travis, I guess they call it the big. We saw her, we knew she was not wrong.
We said that very early on. We said she is not going to last here. She is moving on to somewhere else.
Very attractive young lady.
Yeah, he bought cement. He bought bleach. He was seen. Oh, look who he is.
And now I know
12
why.
minutes early.
How about that, Travis? That work? That should be better. Yeah. Yeah, you know where they saw that? He was in a drive-thru of a Whataburger when they saw all that stuff in the back of his truck.
Wow.
Yeah, on the cameras. It's actually just a little chilly. It's only 62 degrees here at the Radio Ranch, Rooster. The guy from Fox is now Secretary of Defense.
Yes.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's Hannity's post going to be? Good morning, Tommy Miller. How are you?
Tommy Miller, good morning.
Yeah. Not my franchise quarterback.
Yeah.
So this guy stopped going to, hang on, people. And we're back.
Monday night, Sam, the Houston Texans will defeat the Dallas Cowboys. Now, I said that before Dak was injured. Now it's no bold prediction. But yeah, that will be my celebration night as I officially, ever since I was a child, a 6-year-old, a 5-year-old, when I became aware of the Dallas Cowboys, I was a Cowboys fan. I remember the Ice Bowl in 1967. So yeah, Jerry Jones had to work really hard to drive me away, but he has succeeded. Congratulations, Jerry. Travis Kemper, Rooster, Tommy, Sam, Sickapolin. Yeah, Sam, I've had that philosophy on the Cowboys for 20 plus years, hoping that Jerry would move on or, I'm just done. I know that's never going to happen. And there's a high probability that Jerry Jones' son, Stephen Jones, when he inherits the team, will just be Jerry 2.0.
Jerry Light.
Yep.
Hey. Shannon Ford just woke up.
What does that mean?
She sent the weather just now.
Travis, I've been watching a lot less. I turn the Cowboys games on, but I tend to multitask. I tend to leave them on in the background. I used to be locked in
from wire to wire.
Wire
man.
to wire.
Yeah.
When I was when we knew they would lose, I mean, I would still watch every play.
Oh, sure. Sure, because I was a fan. I'm still a fan, but I'm just a disgusted fan right now. Chris, just for you, Sam, stand by.
Stand by. My God, how did
that's horrible.
Squirrel survive? Who? Welcome into this beautiful day, Wednesday, November 13th, 2024. 15 days until Thanksgiving. Are you kidding me? 42 days until Christmas, 68 days until Inauguration Day, and 219 days until Mr. T and I celebrate the first day of summer. Charity McCurdy, did you see the moon when you were driving in this morning, Charity?
Hello, I got your mic up. Oh, you know what? Hang on. It helps if you dial
Studios of the future.
Hang on.
Charity's.
There she is. Hi, Charity. How are you?
Good morning, Charity.
I saw the moon. It was gorgeous. It
Yes.
was majestic. And I wanted to take a picture, but the iPhone never does it justice.
Yeah,
you
why
know?
is that? You know, you figure with the cameras as advanced as they are, when
Yeah.
you try to take a picture of the moon, it just doesn't do it justice.
It was just setting, and to the west, of course. And I mean, it was orange because it was going through all of that atmosphere, and it was magnificent. It will be full on Friday.
Friday, okay.
Friday is the actual full moon, but it's pretty darn full right now.
Gorgeous. Gorgeous. How are you guys doing?
Very
I'm
good.
hanging in there.
Woo!
It's Wednesday. We're halfway there. We're almost
I think
there.
I can. I think I can.
Living on a prayer.
Oh, thank you for the Bon Jovi reference.
Little Bon Jovi halfway
You know,
there
we
reference.
can live without that, but
All right.
okay.
Well, are you anti-Bon Jovi now?
Not anti, just, that song got worn out.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Although I did, the first time I ever ran a marathon at mile 13 in the Los Angeles Marathon, they were blasting.
Living on
We're
a prayer.
halfway there, living on. So that was like.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense
it
in that
made-
situation.
When you're
yes.
deliriously about to pass out from running way too many miles.
I drove a marathon
Yeah,
once.
I was very, very stupid in my youth, and I'm very stupid in my old age as well. But I do know this. I do know how to throw it to traffic and weather together.
Partly cloudy skies today, highs in the mid 80s. Tomorrow and Friday, sunny skies both days, highs in the upper 70s both days. Overnight lows are going to get cold. I mean, tomorrow, overnight lows in the upper 40s. It is 63 degrees in Alamo Heights, 63 at Alamo Ranch, and 62 right here at the Radio Ranch. WOAI News Time, 5:13.
San Antonio's first news, that is Mr. T, Tim Merriman. She's Charity McCurdy. Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days, coming up at 6:48. EJ Pacheco wearing the red hoodie. At least it's not the 49ers
Thank
hoodie.
God.
And Andrew Zimmel doing the heavy lifting. Andrew running our YouTube stream this morning as well. And Charity, as you've been reporting, new information released to the public involving the case of the missing Alamo Heights, Alamos Park mom, Suzanne Simpson. More information about Brad Simpson and things that were discovered in part by a video camera at a Whataburger.
Yeah, amazing that apparently he was seen driving with items that would suggest that he was trying to conceal a body. He bought cement, trash bags, bleach, and was seen transporting a large, bulky item to a dump site. And at one point, there was a witness that said that Brad Simpson had asked him in the parking lot of a Home Depot if he knew where the nearest dump site was in Bernie.
Oh, wow. Wow.
My goodness.
Yeah, and to drive around with giant trash bags with stuff in it, a tarp wrapped into something wrapped in a tarp.
Yeah.
I mean, all that just
Screams.
yes, but
Yeah.
where's the body?
He
We got to find it.
Well, I sure hope so. But
Yeah.
more and more, I mean, you add up the circumstantial evidence, you add up the direct evidence, you add up witness testimony, you add up, the one of the young daughters seeing him slap her and take her phone away the night she disappeared. My goodness, you connect the dots, and we've talked about this case a lot, and we will continue to do so. It is hard to convict someone without a body, but it is not impossible. And the evidence continues to seem to mount against Brad Simpson.
I think this is going to be pretty close to a slam dunk case when you consider witness testimony, the fact that a neighbor heard an argument take place, saw Brad Simpson be physical with his wife, violently throwing her to the ground. I think the evidence will prevail.
We'll continue to track this story. We'll talk more about it a little bit later this morning. But coming up, this will be a little nicer. It's Wembenyama Wednesday,
Hey.
and somebody's going to win some Spurs tickets, a lot of Spurs tickets. How about a family 4-pack of Spurs tickets? We'll tell you about it. We'll tell you how you can win as well. Coming up, WOAI News Time, 5:16.
And we're back.
Woo.
Yeah, they got to find the body, Chris. They got to.
God, I hope
have
they
to
do.
find the body.
I have a bad feeling. I mean, God, they haven't found it yet. I have a bad feeling he was very efficient in whatever he was doing to dispose of
which
it.
shows me premeditation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Horrible. Okay, so what was the name of that restaurant yesterday?
Mixed league.
Mixed league.
league.
Mixed league.
Rooster, they can't see charity. Yeah.
Yeah, we're having technical problems, and Andrew is unable.
Ooh, excellent point, Travis. That's a good point. Oh, so they're going to do something with the Astrodome.
What are they going to do?
I know. So plans for the Astrodome to be announced today.
Huh.
Did you hear the owner of the guy that started Meteoras, Jorge, died?
I just saw that right now. Age 81. He started Meteora?
Yeah, it was his mom and dad did, and
okay.
then he took it over and made it to what it is now.
Wow, we need to talk about that at some point. Well, we're going to talk restaurants. So.
Yeah. I mean, is Meteoras one of the places you want to take them?
It's a classic.
It is a classic, that's for sure. I remember whenever somebody would come into town, somebody from out of town would come visit, we would always take them.
Oh, yeah.
Always.
I once, I did that midnight iHeart New Year's thing.
Yeah.
So Beth and I mean, there's so many people we didn't want to deal with traffic.
So you walked over there?
We walked over to Meteora and had our first meal of the new year there.
That's awesome. Stand by.
Yeah. Coming up, a news-driven, cuisine-driven question for you that could get you some Spurs tickets on Wembenyama Wednesday. But first, Charity McCurdy, what stories are you following?
Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy have been tapped to run the Department of Government Efficiency. A tropical wave in the Caribbean could strengthen into a hurricane next week. And an arrest warrant affidavit is providing grisly details about Brad Simpson, who's accused of murdering his wife. We'll have the latest right now, traffic and weather.
Looks like it's going to cool down a little bit. How much and when? We welcome in News 4 San Antonio meteorologist Jeanette Kaye. Good morning, Jeanette. Thanks, Jeanette. 62 degrees here at the Radio Ranch. WOAI News Time, 521.
San Antonio's first news. It is a Wembanyama Wednesday. And one of the stories we talked about yesterday, Charity and Mr. T, was the San Antonio Progressive Mexican restaurant in Southtown that won a Michelin star, making it one of the finest restaurants in the country and in the world. Now, according to the Express News, we were pronouncing it yesterday, or at least Mr. T and I were, Charity, mixedly. According to the Express News, it is pronounced Mixli, and Mixli means cloud in the Aztec language.
Oh, okay.
Mixli, according to the Express News.
Ah. Okay.
Well, we're not the only ones, because I was watching news reports yesterday, and they were calling it Mixedly also. If you're going to call it Mixedly, why don't you spell it that way?
Well, yeah. Good point. It is spelled Mixtli.
Yeah, Mixedly.
Sounds like Mixedly to me.
But the correct pronunciation is Mixli?
Mixli, MEESH-LEE,
Okay.
according
Mixli.
to a story in the Express News.
I like Mixedly better.
So it got us to thinking, Charity, on a Wembanyama Wednesday when we give away Spurs tickets, there's probably a restaurant-driven question that we could ask our listeners.
Yeah. What's the one restaurant in San Antonio you would want to take the one and only Victor Wembanyama to?
Wow.
Obviously, he's been to a lot of fancy restaurants with Coach Pop, who loves his wine. But where would you take Wemby? What's a restaurant that's consistently great and just has amazing cuisine, customer service? Hit us up on the Talkback on the free iHeartRadio app. You search 1200 WOAI and look for that red circle. That's the Talkback button.
Let's go around the horn, Mr. T, where you want to impress Victor Wembanyama. You want him to know San Antonio has some great restaurants. Where are you taking him?
With that criteria, I'm taking him, and I know this is going to sound like I'm sucking up, but I'm taking him to
La
La
Hacienda de los Barrios,
Okay.
right here on Redland Road, sitting on the patio, and I'll buy him a margarita, and if the police want to arrest me for it, that's fine.
Because he's only 20.
That's
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with La saying, I mean, they're friends of the show. We did Opelka Con there. And the reason we did Opelka Con there,
Yeah.
because we love that place.
Exactly.
We love the food.
Plus, the history
Yes.
of that family
My gosh.
says a lot about San Antonio. So I
Yes.
think that would be the place that, hey, Victor, you want to learn a little bit about San Antonio here.
The Barrios family. They're so wonderful. All right. Charity, I'm taking him on Austin Highway to Tong's Thai. It is a Thai restaurant.
Oh.
I get a thing there called Ha Mok. And Ha Mok is like a Thai bouillabaisse. Lots of fish. Just spectacular. It's spicy, but spectacular, tangy taste. It's one of my favorite restaurants. One of my favorite dishes in town is the Ha Mok at Tong's Thai. Charity, where are you taking Wemby?
I am going to take Wemby to Jardine, which is located in the San Antonio Botanical Garden.
Oh, yeah.
So just amazing setting in itself. Their outdoor patio is just magical. And they have just fresh, very flavorful Mediterranean-inspired food. Cocktail menu is off the chart. They have wine, and it's all in this farmhouse setting. It's very, very unique and very San Antonio. And
love it.
it's Chef Jason Dady, might I
Well,
add.
then
Yeah.
that's all you had to say.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
a commercial for Jardine right there. They should be on. They should be
Yeah,
a
that's
sponsor of the show,
exactly.
man. Just record that and play that every hour, and we're good. Jardine is good.
Have
Very
you ever
cool.
been there?
All right.
No,
We
you've
want-
never been there?
No.
I have not been there.
No.
No.
Okay.
I've been to the botanical gardens, yes,
Mm.
but not to that restaurant. No.
All right.
Yeah, a Jason Dady restaurant, a little too shishi
Yeah,
for
yeah.
me
Oh, come
walking in
on.
my
Yeah.
tank top.
I
and my-
tried, yeah, and they wanted me to wear a
flip-flops.
jacket, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm out.
Yeah. We want to hear from you, and you can win a family 4-pack of tickets to an upcoming Spurs game. Where do you want to take Victor Wembanyama, a restaurant in San Antonio? Lots more coming up. Oh, and this morning's the big day that President-elect, I want to get it right,
Yes.
President-elect Donald Trump visits President Joe Biden at the White House today. We'll talk about that coming up. WOAI News Time 526.
Yes, Rooster, I go to Don Pedro's quite a bit. I love that place.
Yeah, Rooster, one of the owners of Don Pedro, the
Good
son
dude.
of the patriarch and matriarch, lived next door to my mom for a number of years. Really, really cool. I believe his name was Marco.
Yes, Marco.
Very, very cool family.
Never been to
Marco
Cerritos.
Sepulveda. in
Never been
fact.
to Cerritos, Travis. Let's check it out.
Yeah, next time you're in there and you see Marco,
I will. Polo.
Say-
Oh,
say,
sorry.
yeah, you live next door to Chris Duell's mom. He'll remember that.
Oh, yeah.
They
You
were
know,
very cool to my mom.
I was in there about a month ago. We met my daughter there for lunch on a Saturday, and I saw him running around, but he looked pretty busy.
Yeah.
I didn't want to bug him while, he was out there working.
Robert's Cabin says the last 2 days I've
Yeah, I
driven
saw
through
that, yeah.
eastern Tennessee, western North Carolina, flood areas. They're doing great work out there, yet it still looks really bad. They
Yeah.
lost so much.
It's going to look bad for a while, unfortunately, man. That's sad. Oh, Nylan Ayisa, happy birthday.
Double birthday,
The
everybody.
twins. They're Twinkies, man.
Twinkies.
And it's a heavy clock. I just noticed it right during that segment. So we're not going to get this till about 43.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because she's not getting it till almost 33. So,
Yeah.
oh well.
Another thing we got to work on.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. All right, we're back. Sorry, we were just planning some things. Yeah, to be a fly on the wall in that meeting today would be awesome. I'm serious. That would
Yeah.
be just so. And seriously, don't you think we should be privy? I mean, if they start talking national secrets, which I doubt they will
Right.
on this meeting, it should be
I
televised.
agree. Yeah.
That's what Rory's doing. If you want to tease ahead,
Okay. Steve DeRocco, good morning.
what up, Rock?
THE Rock, the original Rock in the house.
The hell?
What is up, Steve DeRocco?
He's in the house. Southside.
How many days, Steve DeRocco? 15, 18?
Yeah.
Where you at?
I think Chris is looking for a sponsor.
I may need one.
I don't mean to make
Day
light. I don't mean to
19.
make light of that, but you know.
Day 19, Steve DeRocco held hostage.
Hang on. Rooster, that's a good one. MK Davis, man.
That's a classic Puto.
Yeah,
San
Puto San
Antonio.
Antonio, man, big time. Yeah. When I worked at KZAP, we used to go there quite a bit. I love that place. Oh, wow. Okay. It's a good one. All right. You got two good ones. All right. That awake. I'm up on the tightrope. One size. One. Oh, hey, have you ever heard of this? Hang on one second.
.533 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, President-elect Trump and President Biden meet today at the White House. In another indication, the Atlantic hurricane season is still active. We'll have details. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this Wednesday, partly cloudy, a high in the upper 80s. Tonight's low near 55. Right now, 64 degrees. Well, President-elect Trump will meet President Biden at the White House today. Here's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal with more.
After the election, President Biden said he'd invited President-elect Trump to the White House, and that meeting is set for today at 11 a.m.
There's going to be a pool spray at the top in the Oval Office before the meeting commences, and so you all and some of your colleagues will certainly have an opportunity to hear from or to see that, to see the two of them sitting down together.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre was asked what message President Biden wants to send with this invitation and sit down.
The importance of keeping the norms, the importance of having a transition that is going to be efficient. This is what the American people deserve.
She would not elaborate on any agenda items or topics of discussion. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
And President-elect Trump continues to build his cabinet, choosing Fox's own Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. Here's Fox's Aisha Hasney.
The president-elect says of Hegseth, nobody fights harder for the troops, and Pete will be a courageous and patriotic champion of our peace through strength policy. Now, Fox News Media has also put out a statement tonight that reads, Pete Hegseth has been an exceptional host on Fox and Friends and Fox Nation and a best-selling author of Fox News books for nearly a decade. His insights and analysis, especially about the military, resonated deeply with our viewers and made the program the major success that it is today. We are extremely proud of his work at Fox News Media and wish him the best of luck in Washington. Trump adding to his national security team, announcing former director of national intelligence John Ratcliffe will be the next CIA director.
Well, the Border Patrol apprehended below 54,000 migrants trying to cross into the United States in September, still well below 2020's all-time high. Tom Homan has been selected to be President-elect Trump's border czar and tells Fox News the Biden administration is making the situation look better than it really is, sacrificing quality.
If there's no overcrowding, there's nothing to see here, and we can keep saying the border is secure. So they have processed aliens and processed children so quickly. Children are going to unvetted sponsors. Aliens have been released before vetting came back from the FBI.
Meantime, Mexico's economy minister says that if the incoming Trump administration puts tariffs on Mexico, Mexico will respond in kind. President-elect Trump promised during the campaign to put 25% tariffs on all goods from Mexico unless the country stopped migrants and drugs from entering the U.S. and said he might even go higher. Marcelo Ebrard said in an interview that his country is the conditions to play in Mexico's favor. Mexico is the U.S. biggest trading partner. Lawmakers have begun filing bills ahead of January's legislative session. Barbara Schwartz has details.
Governor Abbott successfully campaigned against Republicans who didn't support school vouchers, and SMU political scientist Dr. Matthew Wilson says,
we've seen major personnel changes in the Texas legislature, and the governor feels like he's clearly got majority support for a voucher program, and Dan Patrick has signaled that he wants to make that priority one in the Senate.
He believes school choice will move forward, might be paired with increased public school funding to perhaps make it more palatable to Democrats. He says some bills will touch on culture wars, such as limiting minors' access to social media.
A tropical wave in the Caribbean could strengthen into a hurricane next week. The National Hurricane Center gives it a 90% chance of developing into a tropical system over the next 7 days. Projections show the potential storm could head towards Central America, South Florida, or out into the Atlantic. It is 5:37 now with breaking crime news from around the country. Here's Nancy Grace. Traffic and weather in a minute, but first, a check of your money and the world of business. We say good morning to Denise Pellegrini live at the Bloomberg News Desk. This is actually News Radio 1200 WOAI. Thanks, Janice. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news. Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman. I'm Chris Duell. Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days at 648. Andrew Zimmel and EJ Pacheco doing the heavy lifting, flying the Millennium Falcon. Andrew running our YouTube stream. You can see us on YouTube. Search for 1200 WOAI. Well, it is a tradition that the outgoing president will meet with the incoming president in the Oval Office. A tradition, although Donald Trump skipped that tradition in 2020. He did not want to meet with Joe Biden when Joe Biden won election, but he's coming today, 10 o'clock our time. Charity, President-elect Donald Trump and President Joe Biden get together in the Oval Office.
Man, that I'm going to be looking to see how firm and long that handshake between the two will be. And you know, First Lady Jill Biden, I guess she's going to be riding solo. Melania Trump has no plans to take part in the traditional tea and tour of the White House. So I think it'll be just a tad awkward. What do you think?
Yeah, tea for one. That's what it's going to be. Look, I think this is, okay, yes, it is tradition, but, you know, Donald Trump knows his way around the White House.
True.
And so I'm wondering exactly what are they going to talk about. Now, we'd love to see, instead of a handshake, the old bro hug. You know,
a bro hug would be nice.
A bro hug. And
or at the very end of it, Donald Trump points at him and says, "You're fired. You're fired." That would be a nice. And you know what? Just what Tim is pointing out, Donald Trump knows the way around the White House. I understand Melania not coming. It is interesting. You know, Donald Trump could have very easily said, "You know what? I didn't do it in 2020. I'm not doing it now."
Yeah.
So it's kind of nice of him to at least do this.
Yeah, and I know there's, you know, some hard feelings, you know, with the FBI rifling through Melania Trump's underwear drawer. You know, it's going to be, I think, tense.
Is that the reason why she's not coming?
I don't know.
My underwear is off limits.
Okay. Even to my husband. Yeah, no.
Yes.
oh, man, I'm sorry.
I'm just saying.
I'm not going there.
All right.
But don't you think, since they are, you know, they're representing the American people, that this should be televised? I mean, they're not going to sit there and talk national security or anything like that. We should be able to hear what they're talking about.
It's a good question. I mean, maybe Biden will say, "Dude, what is the deal with Putin? What's up? You know, what's he thinking? What do you know?" I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah. And tell me about this new Doja agency that you're forming with Vivek and Elon.
Yeah.
What are you trying to get rid of here? Yeah.
That's a good question. So, I mean, I still think I would love to hear what they're talking about.
It'd be funny if Trump brought Elon with him. Hey, it's my bud, my BFF.
Melania
Elon.
couldn't make it, so here's Elon. Yeah.
I don't go anywhere without Elon these
He's going to
days.
have tea with Jill.
Yeah. So that's 10 o'clock this morning. We will certainly keep an eye on it and see what kind of news we get out of this Oval Office meeting between President-elect Donald Trump and President Joe Biden. Coming up, flashback, we will go back in time. Then, a little bit later this half hour, before the top of the hour, we'll hear from you on a Wembenyama Wednesday to win a family 4-pack of Spurs tickets. We're asking you if you could take Victor Wembanyama to one restaurant in San Antonio to impress him, what would it be? That and more coming up. WOAI News Time, 545.
And we're back.
Woo!
All right. Right now I have 3 talkbacks, but we want to fit that PSA in.
The PSA, but not Wicked?
Nah.
Okay.
I think a PSA is more timely.
Okay.
I'm Tiffany, founder of Harlem Pilates. When I couldn't have Pilates in my neighborhood, I started.
Connie, good morning.
Good morning, Connie.
Find what you love what you find. A total wine and more. So much waiting for. Here it is, thousands of wine. Prices go.
And when you do the Hill Country Honda, I'll do the Get More on 1604.
Ah, okay. It's time to go back in time. What year will we land in? See if you can figure it out. We'll try to figure it out. Let's play flashback.
Mm. Oh, God. Man. Wow.
Charity,
Yeah.
everybody knows you love Bryan Adams. You got to. This should be pretty easy for you.
I love the piano movie more with Holly Hunter and Harvey Keitel. I think that was 93.
93.
Yeah. Okay.
I will go with 93.
Okay.
Let's find out. Charity
All
McCurdy.
right.
Got
She
it.
knows the piano.
But have you ever really loved Bryan Adams?
I like some of his songs. I do. I wouldn't use the word love, but like,
Okay.
Yeah.
You just didn't like with him?
Yeah, in the summer of '69, he was 8 years old. Yet somehow he formed a rock and roll band. If you,
Got his first
I
full
know,
six string. Yeah.
he's a talented guy. Charity, what stories are you following?
President Biden and President-elect Trump are set to meet in the Oval Office this morning. New details about the alleged murder of an Almas Park mother by her husband, and the seasonal ice rink returns to downtown San Antonio this week. We'll have more right now, traffic and weather.
Partly cloudy today, highs in the mid 80s. Tomorrow and Friday, sunshine both days, but overnight lows tomorrow in the upper 40s. On Friday in the mid to upper 50s. 63 degrees in Leon Valley, 63 at Lackland Air Force Base, and 62 here at the Radio Ranch. WOAI News Time, 5:54.
San Antonio's first news. It is a Wembenyama Wednesday. Somebody's going to win a family 4-pack of tickets to an upcoming Spurs game, brought to you by Hill Country Honda.
Get more on 1604.
Now, before we listen to some of the talkbacks, Mr. T, it is World Kindness Day.
Yeah, and it's our gift to our listeners. You know, everybody's kind of going through this right now. So here's a little PSA for what you might be going through.
Warning: 60% of American workers are feeling exhausted, drained, and burnt out. This phenomena is also known as adulting.
It's the number one side effect of growing up. Symptoms of adulting include endless meetings, unpaid bills, and the sudden realization that naps are no longer part of your daily schedule.
Side effects of adulting include stress, random staring inside the fridge, and saying, "I'm so tired" 6 times a day. Consult your childhood before attempting adulting.
I felt that.
Yeah.
Random staring inside the fridge. I'm a victim of that as well.
Yeah. And I say at least 6 times a day, man, I'm tired.
Yeah. Yes. Especially this time of morning.
Yes.
All right. So, Charity, we have asked the people on a Wembenyama Wednesday for a chance at those Spurs tickets. If you could take Victor Wembanyama to any restaurant in town and impress him, which would it be? How do they tell us that?
The free iHeartRadio app. Launch it, search 1200 WOI, hit the red circle. That's the talkback button, 30 seconds to sound off.
Yeah, and you'll sound like this.
Hey, good morning, Tim, Chris, and Charity. Hey, it's Rooster. Well, if I could take Wimby anywhere, it would be to MK Davis. It's a little restaurant down there by SAC. Of course, you'd have to fit through the door, but they got it all, man. They've got American food, Mexican food, chicken fried steak, burgers, fish, onion rings, and they got these large cold schooners. And I'm with you, Tim. I'd buy Wimby one as well and go to jail for it if I had to. You guys have a good one. Rooster.
MK Davis is a classic.
It is a
I love
classic,
it.
definitely. All right, here's another one. Oh, wait, hang on. I swear there's another one coming right now.
Trucker Dave here, San Antonio people. Good morning, team. Hey, I'm getting ready to hit the road with all these ruthless drivers. Don't get out of your way. Jump in your way. Don't stay in their lane. I'm ready to honk my horn at somebody. Get out the way. Anyway, me and Wimby, we're trying to get over to Maria Bonitas over there on Fredericksburg Road and 410 right outside. I believe the street is West Haven. Beautiful place. Gorgeous food.
Maria Bonitas. I
Never
gotta
heard of
check
it.
that
Yeah,
out.
Definitely got to check it out. All right, one more.
Hey guys, Stephen from Lotto. I would pick Casa Rio down on the Riverwalk. I know it's not the most gourmet food, but I like it. I really like their chili con carne. It's definitely got the atmosphere and the history to go with it. A great tourist spot, and it's got a good location. I know I try to keep things light and, tell jokes on this channel, but I do have a little bad news. I went to the doctor and he said, well, Stephen, I hate to tell you this, but you're colorblind. I said, man, that news came out of the purple.
Stephen from Lytle.
Does it again.
He's outstanding. Keep them coming, Stephen. Casa Rio is a great choice as well.
I like Casa Rio, yeah.
Riverwalk view. It's very, very cool.
Yeah,
All
definitely.
right. Lots more coming up, Charity, with all the stories you need to know about at the top of the hour. WOAI News Time, 5:58.
And we're back.
David, Maria Bonitas used to be La Fonda.
Okay.
I did not know that.
Okay.
Thank you, David. Now I have a little context.
Yeah, now I know where it is. Definitely. Okay. Here's another good one. Okay, Royce. You're a good one there, buddy.
Either at 6:10 or 6:20. I think we should do
the
Brad Simpson.
Let's do it 6:10.
Okay.
I think that moves the needle more than people getting killed or injured in an explosion.
Okay.
Yeah. Because that's a big local story.
Yeah.
Okay. La Isla Bonita.
Kemper, adios. Have a good day.
Have a safe trip to work. Cappy's. I remember Cappy's.
Yeah, I haven't been to Cappy's in a long, long time.
That's funny, Sika. My dad was in Turkey.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to be there for like 4 months, and he ended up staying like 11 months, and he was there for Christmas. And my middle sister, Kathy, my dad's colorblind, sent him socks for Christmas and wrapped them all separate. So he was having to go to the people. Do these match? God, he was pissed.
All right, I'm going to stretch.
Yeah, I'm gonna go outside and check on the weather. Everybody enjoy Charity. She's coming up in about a minute. Hang on.
6:01 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, President-elect Trump makes more cabinet selections. We'll have details. First, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this Wednesday, partly cloudy, a high in the upper 80s. Tonight's low 55, right now 64 degrees. President-elect Trump has announced a number of names to serve in his administration, including a very familiar one from Fox News. Here's Fox's Kristen Goodwin.
President-elect Trump choosing Fox News' Pete Hegseth to be his defense secretary. Hegseth is a combat veteran who served in Iraq and Afghanistan and co-host of the weekend edition of Fox and Friends. The president-elect choosing South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem to be his Homeland Security secretary. Former Texas Congressman, federal prosecutor, and one-time director of national intelligence John Ratcliffe to lead the CIA. Also tapping billionaire supporter Elon Musk and former presidential primary rival Vivek Ramaswamy to lead what he calls the Department of Government Efficiency, a new outside government group he says will slash excess regulations, cut wasteful expenditures, and restructure federal agencies. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
President-elect Trump is putting an early focus on border security with his cabinet positions. His backers say this is a signal that immigration reform will be a major part of his administration.
He's serious about dealing with the Mexican cartels, and that is an absolute must that I am very happy to see.
Celine Rodriguez with the Texas Public Policy Foundation is cheering Trump's pick of Tom Homan for border czar. In addition, Trump is reportedly tapping his former immigration advisor, Stephen Miller, as a deputy chief of staff. Senate Republicans are set for a historic leadership election. Fox's Ryan Schmelz is a preview.
A new top Senate Republican will be named for the first time since 2007, as Mitch McConnell, the longest-serving Senate leader in history, is stepping aside at the end of this Congress. McConnell hasn't endorsed anyone, but says he's happy the next leader is walking into a Senate majority.
I've been the majority leader, I've been the minority leader. Majority is a lot better.
Current whip and number 2 Senate Republican John Thune of South Dakota is facing off against former whip John Cornyn of Texas and Florida Senator Rick Scott. The elections will happen behind closed doors. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
President Biden will host President-elect Trump at the White House today. According to a White House statement, the two are set to meet in the Oval Office at 10 a.m. Their get-together comes as Trump is working to fill key posts in his upcoming administration. Melania Trump is not expected to meet First Lady Jill Biden for the traditional tea and tour. Her body is yet to be recovered, but an unsealed arrest affidavit is revealing more details about what the husband of the missing Almas Park mother was doing when she went missing. Eric Lycum has the latest.
The affidavit alleges 53-year-old Brad Simpson's cell phone and truck GPS placed him driving around the day Suzanne Clark Simpson went missing. Surveillance video found him buying cement, trash bags, bleach, and a firewood rack at a Home Depot in Bernie and asking someone where the dump was. He was spotted on surveillance video heading to Medina and Bandera County with a large, bulky item wrapped in a blue tarp weighed down by the firewood rack, with the affiant alleging that was her body. When he came back from Medina, that blue tarp was gone. Texas Rangers with a search warrant found a burn pit on the Simpson property in Bandera County and recovered a burnt laptop and 3 cell phones. Simpson is charged with murder and being held on $2 million bond. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
The Rotary Ice Rink returns to downtown San Antonio this week for its 5th year. The grand opening is scheduled for 9:30 Friday morning at Travis Park and will feature free cocoa, entertainment, and special guests. General admission is $15 a person with discounts for military members. The ice rink will be open every day through January 5th. It is 6:06 tonight. The Spurs host the Washington Wizards. The voice of the Spurs, Bill Schoening, has details in today's Spurs Report.
San Antonio's first news as we speak. President-elect Donald Trump is boarding Trump Force One in Florida. It will take off momentarily, head to Washington, D.C., where check that. I'm so used to calling him former President Trump. I'm trying to get it right. President-elect Trump will meet with President Joe Biden today. As we've discussed, that meeting will take place at 10 o'clock this morning, our time. Coming up, the latest in the case involving the missing Almas Park mother of four, Suzanne Simpson. But first, let's get you caught up on traffic and weather together.
Partly cloudy skies today, highs in the mid 80s. Tomorrow and Friday, lots of sunshine, highs in the upper 70s both days. Overnight lows tomorrow in the upper 40s, Friday in the mid to upper 50s. It is 63 degrees in Monte Vista, 62 in Lavernia, and 62 right here at the Radio Ranch. WOAI News Time 612.
San Antonio's first news. That's Mr. T, Tim Merriman. She's Charity McCurdy. Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days at 648. I'm Chris Duell. And Charity, as you've been reporting, the evidence is mounting against Brad Simpson. Of course, his wife, Suzanne Simpson, missing since early October. He now charged with her murder, and we've learned a whole lot more from a warrant that was made public.
Yeah, on October 7th, that's the day after his wife, Suzanne Clark Simpson, went missing. According to this affidavit, Brad Simpson went to the Home Depot and purchased 2 bags of cement, an orange Home Depot construction bucket with a lid, and a box of 32 count of heavy-duty trash bags, and a huge bottle of Clorox disinfectant spray, and insect repellent. And apparently a witness at that Home Depot in the parking lot says Brad Simpson walked up to him and asked him if he knew where the nearest dump site was where it was in Bernie. So that is pretty damning evidence and would suggest, based on surveillance video that showed a lot of those items in Brad Simpson's truck bed, it just indicates that he was in the process of probably trying to dispose of his wife's body.
Yeah, because you mentioned the surveillance cameras. The daughter's school cameras picked up at least 2 trash bags and a large ice chest in the back of his truck. But then he went to a nearby Whataburger, and that picture became even clearer. There was an item, a large item wrapped in a blue tarp with a firewood rack placed on top of it and trash bags. So like Charity says, it appears that that's what he was doing, getting rid of something.
Yeah, and again, you add all of this together, add the witness that saw the struggle in the front yard that night, add the daughter who told a teacher at her school that he had struck her that night and taken her cell phone away. And bit by bit, this creates a case that looks like it will be very, very damning for Brad Simpson. But Charity, we're still looking for the body.
We are, and you want to believe that they'll be able to find her body soon. But it's interesting, we talk about witnesses in this case that are helping police build this murder case against Brad Simpson. Apparently, a personal banker of Suzanne Simpson told police that Suzanne made an outcry of being physically abused by her husband, who took her phone away many times, and even went on to say that if she went missing, to look for her in a lake.
In a lake. See, the bags of cement, one of our chatters mentioned that, hey, they might want to send divers into Bernie Lake.
Yeah.
Didn't even think about that, but when you mentioned he bought cement, there you go.
Such a horrible story, and hopefully they find the body of Suzanne Simpson, and hopefully some resolution is brought to her family. At least it would be awful if that body is never found.
Yeah.
Lots more coming up. In fact, a little bit later, we'll be talking about the Pentagon secrets leaker, now sentenced to 15 years in prison. That and a whole lot more. WOAI News Time 616.
And we're back.
All right.
Okay. Sorry.
Thanks, baby.
And we're back. It's just cold, dude.
We should tell him, dude, that's in pretty bad taste.
Yeah. Dude. How do you think Polo feels? Oh, you got jury duty in Wilson County today. All right, Jacob. Hopefully it goes like mine did, where you go in and then the judge comes out and says, all right, everybody's dismissed. We got nothing for you today. Goodbye. That always works. I wanted to get chosen on a jury, though. And, of course, my luck. No, there's nothing. Get out of here. All right, so 5, 6, 24, I guess.
Okay.
So, I mean, we don't have a lot of time in that segment anymore because of the Spurs flashback. Yeah, see, I wanted to be on a jury and I got dismissed right away. You know, didn't even get a chance to go through any of the stuff. Just don't wear a hat, man. They're really big on that.
Texting. You'll see what it is in a second.
Okay.
Text about the polo shirt.
Okay. Not cool, man. Not cool, dude. Not cool. Black Friday come.
There it is. I didn't go the other direction. I didn't want to. I went positive instead.
Oh, did you?
Saying, how dare you?
Okay, I'm sorry. That's funny, dude. Solidarity, baby. That's what it's all about, man. Solidarity. Ernest, EJ liked it. He's a real supporter. He's a polo supporter.
Yes.
We're going to wear a bag shirt. Woo. Except for I don't have one.
Yeah.
If I had
Well,
one.
you do have a Mike Taylor shirt.
Yes, I do. And a Thompson Brothers. I know what's in
Nice.
Rob's pocket
Wow.
shirt, dude.
You still have that? That's
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
that could be worth something.
Yeah.
Among the legions of fans on eBay.
On eBay.
Maybe Nate Lundy would buy that from you.
Sure he would.
Yeah.
All right. Just for you, Sam. Stand by, Chris.
Thank you. Just ahead of headlines, traffic, and weather together. And then we're going to tell you about not only Wembanyama Wednesday, a chance to win a family 4-pack of tickets to an upcoming Spurs game, but the Spurs could get a bit of a milestone here tonight if they get a win. We'll tell you about that. Charity McCurdy, what stories are you following?
We'll have the latest on President-elect Trump's cabinet selections. Senate Republicans are poised to select their new leader today, and new details about what led police to charge Brad Simpson with the murder of his Almas Park wife. We'll have more right now, traffic and weather.
Partly cloudy skies today, highs in the mid 80s. Tomorrow and Friday, lots of sunshine, highs in the upper 70s both days, but it's going to cool off tomorrow night. Overnight lows in the upper 40s. On Friday, going into Saturday, in the mid to upper 50s. 63 degrees at the Pearl, 63 at Randolph Air Force Base, and 62 here at the Radio Ranch. WOAI News Time, 621.
San Antonio's first news. Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman. Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days coming up at 6:48. I'm Chris Duell. Andrew Zimmel, EJ Pacheco, making the show go, doing the heavy lifting this morning. And somebody, before this show ends at 9 o'clock this morning, is going to win a family 4-pack of tickets to a San Antonio Spurs game, an upcoming Spurs game. By the way, those tickets courtesy of Hill Country Honda.
Get more on 1604.
Correctamundo. And we're asking people with the big news that a San Antonio restaurant, Michelin, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, good luck with that, got a Michelin star, meaning it's like a big-time restaurant now. If you were taking Victor Wembanyama to a restaurant in San Antonio to impress him, to show him a great meal and a great experience, what restaurant would it be? We're going to pick our favorite and give that person a family 4-pack of Spurs tickets. Charity, how do they get us that information?
The absolutely free iHeartRadio app. You launch it, search 1200 WOAI. Look for that red circle. That is the talkback feature. Once you hit it, 30 seconds to sound off.
Yeah, it's pretty simple.
Very simple. Now, Charlie was in here yesterday making an interesting point that the Spurs, they're now 5-6. They won their 6th game last season in January.
Yes.
So here they are tonight on November 13th, a little earlier than January. If they win against the Washington Wizards tonight, not only will they win their 6th, they will go to 6-6, which is 500, which is pretty good for a team that did not have the best record in the league last year.
Progress. That's what we want to see.
Yes.
That's what we want to hear. And Wembanyama has been on fire. I think Chris Paul is a great addition. We finally have Devin Vassell back, and they're doing all of this, these improvements that we're seeing without their fearless leader, Coach Pop.
Yeah, and still there's no word on what Pop is going through right now. So we know what everybody else knows. Absolutely nothing.
And I get texts
all
from
the time,
people who say, what do you know about Coach Pop?
Yeah.
Because we are the flagship station, 1200 WOAI, and we do not know.
No.
We're hoping and praying for the best and hope he recovers well, but we do not know yet. So as soon as we know, we'll let you know. But hey, we want you to win those Spurs tickets. Coming up, Charity, with everything you need to know at the bottom of the hour, WOAI News Time, 624.
And we're back.
I should have teased that the Spurs flashback was
Oh,
here.
that's
More about
right.
the Spurs from Bill. But
I guess I got to put that on the rundown. When I was the producer of the show, I would actually listen to it and then write down what year it was going back to, what was
Wow.
going on.
that was actually
Maybe I'll start doing that
being
again.
engaged in the show.
Yeah.
I remember you putting that on the rundown.
Yeah.
Spurs flashback 1981. Yeah.
Yep. Want to do the Tashira sentenced to 15 years in
Yeah.
prison?
I
Okay.
think that's a big story.
Oh, yeah. And I've got enough to get us through the 50 segment.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to go get a jacket or a heavier shirt out of my car. It's too damn cold in here.
It is cold. You know what? That's a good idea. I got a jacket in my car.
Too cold.
.30 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, President-elect Trump and President Biden meet today at the White House, and more on the alleged murder of an Almas Park mother. We'll have the latest right now, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this Wednesday, partly cloudy, a high in the upper 80s. Tonight's low near 55. Right now, 63 degrees. President-elect Trump will meet President Biden today at the White House. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has details.
After the election, President Biden said he'd invited President-elect Trump to the White House, and that meeting is set for today at 11 a.m.
There's going to be a pool spray at the top in the Oval Office before the meeting commences, and so you all and some of your colleagues will certainly have an opportunity to hear from or to see that, to see the two of them sitting down together.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre was asked what message President Biden wants to send with this invitation and sit down.
The importance of keeping the norms, the importance of having a transition that is going to be efficient. This is what the American people deserve.
She would not elaborate on any agenda items or topics of discussion. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Manhattan Judge Juan Merchan agreed to grant a stay on all deadlines associated with sentencing President-elect Trump in his criminal hush money case. The decision means that Trump will not be sentenced on November 26 as expected and gives Judge Merchan time to evaluate the effect of Trump's re-election. Trump's senior advisor, Alina Habba, tells Fox's Hannity that the case should be dismissed completely.
It should be dismissed. It should never have been brought. And if Judge Merchan wants to have any dignity, any dignity from the American people in the robe, in the office of all attorneys and judges and the DOJ, he should stop this nonsense right away.
Trump was found guilty on 34 counts of falsifying business records relating to payments made to adult film actress Stormy Daniels in attempts to cover up an extramarital affair. President-elect Trump continues building his cabinet, choosing Fox's own Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. Here's Fox's Aisha Hasni.
The president-elect says of Hegseth, nobody fights harder for the troops, and Pete will be a courageous and patriotic champion of our peace through strength policy. Now, Fox News Media has also put out a statement tonight that reads, Pete Hegseth has been an exceptional host on Fox and Friends and Fox Nation and a best-selling author of Fox News books for nearly a decade. His insights and analysis, especially about the military, resonated deeply with our viewers and made the program the major success that it is today. We are extremely proud of his work at Fox News Media and wish him the best of luck in Washington. Trump adding to his national security team, announcing former director of national intelligence John Ratcliffe will be the next CIA director.
Meantime, Senate Republicans are poised to select their new leader today. South Dakota's John Thune, Texas's John Cornyn, and Florida's Rick Scott are vying to be the party's leader in the upper chamber. They're all looking to replace Kentucky's Mitch McConnell, who's stepping aside as Republican leader. The former Massachusetts Air National Guardsman who admitted to leaking classified military documents has been sentenced to 15 years in prison. Jack Teixeira appeared in a Boston federal court yesterday where a judge handed down his sentence for violating the Espionage Act. Teixeira admitted to sharing the classified information with other users on the social media platform Discord. While Brad Simpson remains jailed in Bexar County on $2 million bond for the murder of his wife, Suzanne Clark Simpson, we're learning more details about her last hours. Here's Eric Ludcomb.
An unsealed, almost parked police arrest affidavit says Suzanne was last seen by a neighbor on October 6, arguing and physically struggling in front of their home. He says she broke away from Simpson and ran towards a wooded area. The neighbor went to get a flashlight when he heard screams, and then about an hour later, Brad's truck left and came back. The couple and the daughter were at a club earlier and seen arguing. She left with the daughter and went to an HEB and called a friend and went there, calling her mother along the way to report that she had been assaulted. Simpson had told police Suzanne was sleeping at the house the next day, but suspicious items were seen in his truck as he dropped off his daughter at school. Suzanne's body is yet to be recovered as the investigation unfolds. Eric Lankum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Several Texas counties are getting their first taste of winter weather this week, and along with that comes worries about the state's embattled power grid.
The good news is because of some regulations passed, the power plants themselves are more winterized.
But UT professor Michael Weber says there are still questions about the natural gas system, which can freeze. The operator of the Texas power grid put out a report earlier this month suggesting there's an 80% chance of rolling blackouts if the state gets gets hit with something similar to Winter Storm Uri. Well, the Astrodome Conservancy is expected to reveal its plans for the dome today. The Harris County Commissioners Court approved a $105 million plan in 2018 to repurpose the dome as a park and event space, but that project was abandoned in 2019. The Astrodome opened in 1965 as the world's first domed sports arena. It was home to baseball, football, and basketball games, boxing matches, rodeos, concerts, and the 1992 GOP convention. But the Astros and the Oilers moved out in the 1990s, and the dome was condemned in 2009. It is 6:37. Traffic and weather together in a minute. But first, check of your money and the world of business. We welcome Denise Pellegrini live at the Bloomberg News Desk. Thanks, Denise. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news. Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman, Charlie Parker coming right up at 6:48 with Those Were the Days. I'm Chris Duell. Well, as Charity has been reporting, Jack Teixeira, the Massachusetts Air National Guard member who pleaded guilty to leaking highly classified military documents, was sentenced to 15 years in prison yesterday by a federal judge. Here's acting U.S. Attorney for Massachusetts, Joshua Levy.
Jack Teixeira told his cyber pseudo buddies not to worry, he wouldn't get caught. Well, he was wrong about that. Thanks to the dedicated team of investigators from the FBI and the prosecutors in our office, we put together an airtight case and secured a very meaningful sentence today.
Now, Charity, prosecutors had asked for 17 years for Teixeira. He gets 15. His defense team asked for 11 years in prison. A situation like this, I think he should be prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. and the fullest extent of the law would have been 17 years.
Yeah, and I think you could make the case for double that. We're talking about the leaking of sensitive information that was described by prosecutors as one of the most significant and consequential violations of the Espionage Act in American history. I mean, Teixeira put classified information online almost every single day for more than a year, transmitting it to our adversaries. There's no excuse for that, although I believe Teixeira's lawyers tried to cite autism and isolation during the pandemic as a contributing factor for his behavior.
No, and I'm sorry, but I don't think 15 years is enough for espionage. And Charity, you mentioned it, sharing things online for about a year. That is, that's just, you can't give somebody 15 years for that. It's espionage. You want people not to do things like this, so you try to curb it by giving them a stiffer sentence.
And the fact that he was a service member
Yes.
serving in the Massachusetts Air National Guard, to me, I think that takes this to another level. We have people convicted of espionage who work in sensitive organizations, maybe as defense contractors. And when you take that oath of office to be in the military, and this is Military City, USA. I know there's a lot of service members and veterans listening right now. That's very, very serious. And that is a sacred oath. And yeah, I am all for this guy getting the book thrown at him. And Charity, you make a great point. Should be double the
Amen.
15 years.
At
Should
least.
be 30 years.
He knew what he was doing was wrong. He had extensive training that covered the consequences for leaks. And he was, in fact, warned about the improper way he was handling some classified material in the past. So he knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah, and trying to impress his online buddies, that's not an excuse for anything, especially when it comes to our national security. That is not an excuse for anything whatsoever. But man, you're dealing with our national. Just think of people that he could have put in jeopardy, soldiers. That there's just 15 years is a slap on the wrist.
So true. And Jack Teixeira is 22 years old at the moment. He turns 23 next month in December. So you do the math. 15 years, he'll be 38 when he gets out. He'll still be a relatively young man, and hopefully he will have learned something from all this.
Yeah, hopefully be a change man.
Yeah, let's hope this has something, positive come out of this, and he realizes that, maybe I messed up.
Well, and I think the other reason why you have to give him the maximum is that an example needs to be made for anybody else who might have the idea that this is a good idea, that this might impress my friends online if I leak sensitive information.
Yeah, we need to do a better job maybe selecting who has access to
Amen.
classified information. I think this
Amen.
case highlights that as well.
Yeah, you should know exactly who is touching or reading or has access to any classified information at all times.
Totally agree. And I mean, he's 22 now. He was so young, much younger when he committed these crimes. So yeah, that was a huge point. That's what blew my mind when the story broke, how young he was to have access to this information and therefore give it away. Awful. All right. Well, justice is served. I would have liked it to be a little more harsh in this case. Coming up, Charlie Parker with Those Were the Days. Then we'll hear from you on a Wembanyama Wednesday. Somebody's winning a family 4-pack of Spurs tickets, and those are courtesy of Hill Country Honda.
Get more on 1604.
We'll tell you how, and we'll listen how. Coming up, WOAI News Time, 6:45.
Hello, everybody.
Travis, we got your email. I'm writing.
Yeah, we're working on it. We're efforting.
We'll do that next Tuesday for Yacht Rock Tuesday.
Yeah, so you guys agree 15 years is not enough, man. I just don't understand how that they think that's a decent sentence. I just don't. Like you said, trying to stop any other youngster from doing something like that. Isn't that considered treason?
Yes, and
shouldn't that be
treason
punishable
certainly-
by death?
By in wartime, certainly it is.
Well, aren't we always in wartime? I
Good
mean,
point.
seriously.
Yeah, you can make that argument.
Yep. Oh, wow. From John Decker. Hi, Mr. T. As you know, I'm off this week. I'm in Berlin and I have a speaking event tonight. If you want, I can come on and talk about the Trump-Biden meeting. I was in the Oval Office. Yes. When?
Oh, hell yes.
7:20?
Yes. And we're sure he means tomorrow.
I don't know if
And
he's, I'm going to say, I'm going to ask him either
Today or tomorrow?
Today or tomorrow, yeah.
Well, that's fantastic.
Well, if he's speaking tonight, I think he wants to talk about it
today.
Dude, that would be awesome. Like, wow. The guy likes texting me, man.
And the only bad news is Tony Gonzalez is ahead of him in that half hour.
That's
I mean,
okay.
We'll do it, but it's
that's okay.
It's going to make it tight.
It's all right. It's 30 minutes from right now, John. Can you do it? See, that's the difference between us and anybody else he does.
True.
We'll wait till he confirms and then we can go from there. Because I think he wants to do it today because if the way he's talking, I can come on and talk about the Trump-Biden meeting. I was in the Oval Office when Trump met with Obama in 2016.
Okay.
So hopefully he gets back to me right away. You know, usually we at 7:10 span the globe to bring you the constant variety of audio. This time we're actually going to span the globe and bring you John Decker.
Yes.
Good morning, Eric. How are you? Jesse, I am not familiar with the Walmart controversy. Fill me in. It said you sent you a couple of pictures yesterday. Eric did.
Thank you, Eric. I hadn't had a chance to look at them yet. Wow, very cool, Eric. I'm looking at them now. Very nice.
Here we go. Yep, he'll do it.
And he's in Berlin.
He's in Berlin.
Wow.
President-elect Trump continues making his cabinet selections, with Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell stepping down. Senate Republicans vote today on their new leader, and an arrest affidavit lays bare the evidence police used to file murder charges against the husband of a missing Almas Park mother. We'll have the latest right now, traffic and weather.
Partly cloudy today, highs in the mid 80s. Tomorrow and Friday, sunshine both days, highs in the upper 70s both days. It is 63 degrees at Lackland Air Force Base, 62 in China Grove, and 62 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 6:54.
San Antonio's first news, that's Mr. T. She's Charity. I'm Chris. Thanks to Charlie Parker. For those were the days. Big 7 o'clock hour coming up at 7:10. Congressman Tony Gonzalez, he'll talk about his win, Trump's win, and the border. 7:20, we'll go to Berlin, Germany, check in with White House correspondent John Decker. Now, he was in the Oval Office when Donald Trump met with Barack Obama after the 2016 election. Today at 10 a.m., now President-elect Donald Trump will meet with President Joe Biden in the Oval Office. We'll talk about that with John Decker at that time. But right now, we're going to hear from you. It is Wembenyama Wednesday. We have a family 4-pack of tickets, which is brought to us by Hill Country Honda.
Get more on 1604.
And we're asking people in the aftermath of this big announcement earlier in the week that a San Antonio restaurant received 1 Michelin star. We're asking you if you could take Victor Wembanyama to one San Antonio restaurant that he would love, that you love, that would impress him. What would that restaurant be? We're going to pick our favorite before the end of the show and give you those 4 Spurs tickets. Mr. T, what do we have?
We got a bunch. Here's our first one.
Good morning, Chris, Tim, and Charity. If I was going to take Wemby anywhere, he's a big guy. I think he needs something big to eat. Tycoon Flats have the best burgers in town. I would take him there. Have a great day.
Okay.
Tycoon Flats.
All right.
On the St. Mary's Strip.
Yes, it is. And long time no listen to. We haven't heard from her in a while, but Belle is back.
Hey, good morning, guys. It's me, Belle. Miss y'all. So Wemby, I think I'm gonna take him to, if I can get a deal with him, I can convince him. I take him out to Taco Reyes, which is breakfast tacos out there on Castroville, and then for lunch I'm gonna take him out to Ding Hao.
Ooh.
Oh yeah, and then I'm gonna take him out for dinner. Take him out to Los Barrios. Ooh. Oh my gosh, Juan San Blanco or Violas, whichever. Hey, y'all have a great day. Bye.
You gotta love Belle. She's not just taking him; she's taking him for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Taco Reyes, Ding Hao, and Los Barrios.
That'll fatten him up. Yeah.
Well, we need him to put on a little weight, but not a lot.
Not
but
a bad
little
plan.
No, it's not at all. All right, here's another one.
Hey, Chris. Hey, everybody. This is a Roadrunner. Good morning. I was thinking maybe Rosario's right by downtown, or maybe Mi Tierra. And I was thinking, and all of a sudden, Charity mentions Melania's underwear, and oh my gosh, it just completely wrecked my mind. And all of a sudden, I'm thinking seafood. Oh my goodness! Y'all have a great morning.
That was in reference to the FBI investigation on classified documents. Trump and Biden are meeting at the White House today. It might be awkward. Melania's not going. And the reason why is because there was a search of her underwear drawer, allegedly.
Nice of you to clarify that, Charity.
Yes.
Yeah.
For anybody just tuning in.
Questions were all in people's minds.
There
out
was a
there,
news connection to that statement, just so you
You were talking restaurant, but then Charity started talking about Melania's underwear.
We
Okay.
did go off the rails, though. It does happen.
Yeah, a little bit. All right, here's another one.
Hello, this is Gary. A good place to take Wimby is to a little hole-in-the-wall restaurant, grab them after practice, and go down to Rudy's Seafood on South Flores. As soon as you arrive, you'll see large murals on the outside of the Admiral and the Big Three, Tim, Tony, and Manu. Inside, a whole bunch of paintings of different Spurs players and loaded with Spurs paraphernalia. Food is really good. I recommend getting the jumbo fish burger. The only downfall is they also have some Cowboys
Vanilla.
Yeah, I did want to mention when Roadrunner mentioned Mi Tierra in the news. I want to
Sad,
mention the passing of the matriarch of Mi Tierra. Actually, the second generation, his parents founded it. But Jorge George Cortez died at the age of 81 on Monday, and he was, the face of Mi Tierra for decades and decades and decades. So we certainly mourn his passing.
Amen. He was such an inspirational figure and was a mentor to many.
Yeah. All right, let's check in with Kemper.
Good morning. I guess I would have to suggest Bob's Chop House at the Rim. They would offer privacy and celebrity status for Wemby. But I think it'd be more fun to take the whole team to the original Taco Cabana on San Pedro. Shoot, I might be able to afford that. And, who doesn't like a fresh tortilla and a bean and cheese taco? Have a great day, you guys.
I like that idea.
I do too.
The original Taco Cabana. And Charity can attest that at Bob's Chop House at the Rim, they do give celebrities
private rooms,
private
yes.
rooms and
Yes.
respect their privacy, right, Charity?
I've never been there, guys, but thanks.
I went past it once. Does that count?
I can't believe you've not been to Bob's Chop House at the Rim. Don't you check out all the shishi restaurants?
I want to
Don't you?
try it. I do. I do.
And tell them I'm Charity McCurdy. Oh,
who?
It's back. Get you right back into our celebrity private dining room.
Hi, Chastity. Come on in. Yeah.
Very, very nice. Well, all right. The big 7 o'clock hour is upon us. As we mentioned, Congressman Tony Gonzalez at 7:10. Lots to talk about with him. And then from Berlin, Germany at 7:20, White House correspondent John Decker about the meeting today. In fact, it's going to be 10 o'clock this morning. President-elect Trump and President Biden. We'll get into all that coming up. But right now, Charity, with all the big stories that you need to know about it, as WOAI News Time is 7 o'clock.
Seven o'clock is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, President-elect Trump makes more cabinet selections, and today the Senate Republican leadership vote takes place. We'll have more right now. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this Wednesday, partly cloudy, a high in the upper 80s. Tonight's low 55. Right now, 63 degrees. President-elect Trump has announced a number of names to serve in his administration, including a very familiar one from Fox News. Here's Fox's Kristen Goodwin.
President-elect Trump choosing Fox News' Pete Hegseth to be his defense secretary. Hegseth is a combat veteran who served in Iraq and Afghanistan and co-host of the weekend edition of Fox and Friends. The president-elect choosing South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem to be his Homeland Security secretary. Former Texas Congressman, federal prosecutor, and one-time director of national intelligence John Ratcliffe to lead the CIA. Also tapping billionaire supporter Elon Musk and former presidential primary rival Vivek Ramaswamy to lead what he calls the Department of Government Efficiency, a new outside government group he says will slash excess regulations, cut wasteful expenditures, and restructure federal agencies. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
And President-elect Trump is putting an early focus on border security with his cabinet positions. His backers say this is a signal that immigration reform will be a major part of his administration.
He's serious about dealing with the Mexican cartels, and that is an absolute must that I am very happy to see.
Celine Rodriguez with the Texas Public Policy Foundation is cheering Trump's pick of Tom Homan for border czar. In addition, Trump is reportedly tapping his former immigration advisor, Stephen Miller, as a deputy chief of staff. Senate Republicans, meantime, are set for a historic leadership election. Here's Fox's Ryan Schmelz with a preview.
A new top Senate Republican will be named for the first time since 2007, as Mitch McConnell, the longest-serving Senate leader in history, is stepping aside at the end of this Congress. McConnell hasn't endorsed anyone, but says he's happy the next leader is walking into a Senate majority.
I've been the majority leader, I've been the minority leader. Majority is a lot better.
Current whip and number 2 Senate Republican John Thune of South Dakota is facing off against former whip John Cornyn of Texas and Florida Senator Rick Scott. The elections will happen behind closed doors. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
President Biden will host President-elect Trump today at the White House. According to a White House statement, the two are set to meet in the Oval Office at 10 a.m. Their get-together comes as Trump is working to fill key posts in his upcoming administration. Melania Trump is not expected to meet First Lady Jill Biden for the traditional tea and tour. Her body is yet to be recovered, but an unsealed arrest affidavit is revealing more details about what the husband of the missing Almas Park mother was doing when she went missing. Eric Lycum has the latest.
The affidavit alleges 53-year-old Brad Simpson's cell phone and truck GPS placed him driving around the day Suzanne Clark Simpson went missing. Surveillance video found him buying cement, trash bags, bleach, and a firewood rack at a Home Depot in Bernie and asking someone where the dump was. He was spotted on surveillance video heading to Medina and Bandera County with a large, bulky item wrapped in a blue tarp weighed down by the firewood rack, with the affiant alleging that was her body. When he came back from Medina, that blue tarp was gone. Texas Rangers with a search warrant found a burn pit on the Simpson property in Bandera County and recovered a burnt laptop and 3 cell phones. Simpson is charged with murder and being held on $2 million bond. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
School vouchers will be front and center when the Texas legislature meets in January. Governor Abbott successfully campaigned against Republicans who oppose school choice. SMU political scientist Dr. Matthew Wilson says Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick has signaled he wants vouchers to be priority number 1. Wilson says it will move forward.
But school choice will be paired with increased school funding and probably a teacher pay raise. Those will be sweeteners that the governor and the lieutenant governor will, I think, offer in order to maybe attract a couple of Democrats on board.
He says there's also been talk of further property tax reductions. One bill has been filed to increase the minimum wage, and Wilson says that's likely to fail. Well, 45-year-old John Krasinski has been named this year's sexiest man alive by People magazine. The Office star was humbled by the selection, telling the magazine he thought he was being punked. Patrick Dempsey won the prize in 2023, following Chris Evans in 2022. It is 7:06. Tonight, the Spurs host the Wizards. The voice of the Spurs, Bill Schoening, has details. And today's Spurs Insider brought to you by Methodist Healthcare. Thanks, Bill. Today's Spurs Insider brought to you by Methodist Healthcare. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's first news coming right up. Congressman Tony Gonzalez, who just won re-election last week in the 23rd Congressional District. Lots to talk about with him, but first, let's get you caught up on traffic and weather together.
Partly cloudy today, highs in the mid 80s, 62 degrees. WOAI News Time 710.
San Antonio's first news. That's Mr. T, Tim Merriman. She's Charity McCurdy. I'm Chris Duell. And we welcome in Congressman from the 23rd Congressional District, Tony Gonzalez, Navy veteran. Congressman, first of all, congratulations on your re-election last Tuesday. You win convincingly with over 62% of the vote. How does it feel to win re-election by such a large margin?
Yeah, good morning. Thanks for having me back on. Yeah, no, it feels great. It definitely shows that you're doing something right, and you just got to keep working at it. I was really, there was a lot of positives that night, but I was really excited that we were able to win El Paso County, which is completely unheard of. This was a Biden 33 county part of my district last cycle, and we won by 3 points in that area. So whether it's, the most blue, the most red, didn't matter. Folks came out and got behind us, and it feels great.
And Congressman, a lot of people still processing the outcome of the election, especially if it didn't go the way they hoped or expected. And we heard President-elect Trump bring a message of unity in his victory speech. How important is that as we look ahead to the next 4 years?
I think it's very important. I think most of us, I think for the last several years, it feels as if politics has been turned on and we haven't been able to turn it off. You can't get away from it. I don't think it used to always be that way, but we do need to get back to what's in the betterment of our country, of our state, of our local communities, and less of the rhetoric kind of spewing there. And so I'm very excited for Texas. I'm very excited for the change that's coming, certainly needed. It was very evident in the election results on how many people just wanted to go in a different direction. And now really it's up to Congress. I think Congress plays a very important role to deliver on some of these priorities to make sure people's lives are better, things are safer, our kids are productive and healthy, all those wonderful things.
And I know border security was one of the main things I think that won this election for President Trump. How is this mass deportation going to take place? Do we know what the logistics are on this yet?
I think they're still working through everything. The way that I continue to advocate for is we need to focus on the convicted criminals. If you remember a few months ago, I had a letter that I got in response to some questions I asked ICE. And in this letter, it highlighted all these convicted criminals. Once again, I don't envision a world where you're going door to door and rounding people up. I do envision a world where we already know these convicted criminals of very serious crimes, murder, rape, just these heinous crimes are loose in our community. And actually, we're already ahead of that this year in the Homeland Appropriations bill. I was able to get some language in there that mandates that local, state, and federal law enforcement all work together when dealing with some of these criminal aliens. So I think that's what we need to focus on. Convicted criminals. Let's round them up, deport those folks.
Amen. And Congressman, as Mr. T just alluded, we certainly learned from exit polls and just by the results of this election that the border was a huge issue, certainly in Texas and across the country. How convinced are you now that under Republican leadership, the border will be fixed in such a way that we don't go back to the way things were?
Yeah, this was some of the frustrations I had with the current administration. There's some things that you literally can do today, Chris, to make things better. And for whatever reason, they always felt that it was just a political problem. While it is and will always be a political issue, there is very much some policy things that you can do today. You can, when people come over, you can speed up the amount of time they get their cases. You can get them done in days, not years. You start doing that. If people do not qualify for asylum, which 9 out of 10 don't, you immediately deport them. That alleviates some stress. And I'd also like to hear some talk on legal immigration. I'm talking about folks doing it the right way. I think that's why you saw so many Hispanic communities kind of go in a different direction this election cycle, go away from the Democratic Party and start giving a chance to the Republican Party. Is, what about them? What about the people that are doing it the right way? It's unfair for you to be in the back of the line when there's pure lawlessness. But bottom line is people deserve to feel safe. And in my district, we've been ground zero. We've been unsafe due to these high-speed chases, the pure chaos, and the people you are coming over that you just don't know who they are. So I think Republicans, you'll see a very quick change.
Congressman Tony Gonzalez, always appreciate connecting with him. We hope to do it again very, very soon. Coming up, White House correspondent John Decker. He's in Berlin, Germany, but he was in the Oval Office last time there was a handover of power. That was 2016, the last time Donald Trump attended. That is, since Donald Trump didn't do it in 2020. We'll talk about that coming up. WOAI News Time, 7:15. We are moments away from going live to Berlin, Germany to talk with White House correspondent John Decker. But first, Charity, what stories are you following?
Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy have been tapped to run the Department of Government Efficiency. The tropical wave in the Caribbean could strengthen into a hurricane next week, and an arrest warrant affidavit is providing grisly details about Brad Simpson, who's accused of murdering his wife. We'll have more coming up. Right now, traffic and weather.
Partly cloudy skies today and hot. Highs in the mid 80s. 62 degrees here at Stone Oak. WOAI News Time 720.
San Antonio's first news. That's Mr. T. She's Charity. I'm Chris. And joining us live right now from Berlin, Germany, White House correspondent and attorney John Decker. Now, John was in the Oval Office in 2016 when President Obama met with President-elect at the time, Donald Trump. Today, Donald Trump meeting with President Joe Biden. John, before we talk about that, we got to ask you the question, what are you doing in Berlin?
Yeah, this was planned several weeks ago. It was planned following the week of the election. I'm doing a speaking event tonight here to the American Chamber of Commerce for Germany, talking about what you've been talking about, what I've been talking about for the past week, and that is the election of Donald Trump, the re-election of Donald Trump, the return to the White House of Donald Trump. It is making news not just in San Antonio, not just in the U.S., but it's making news worldwide.
And John, as Chris mentioned, you were in the Oval Office in 2016 when then President Obama met with President-elect Trump, and many would assume that would make for an icy exchange, but was that the case?
No, it wasn't. They were respectful to one another while the cameras were on them before we left the room. In fact, Donald Trump was very deferential to President Barack Obama, as the president-elect typically is. But when we left the room, the mood changed, and a conversation that was supposed to last about an hour lasted 2 hours. And it changed because I don't think that the president-elect had the kind of respect that President Obama expected him to have for President Obama. When President Obama was talking about the trouble spots around the world, and he got to what President Obama felt is the biggest trouble spot at the time, and that was North Korea, President-elect Trump said, well, why didn't you do something about it? And then the conversation went downhill from there. I don't anticipate getting into the ins and outs of what's happening in these two trouble spots in the world, the Middle East and also Ukraine, but you never know. We'll get a readout from President-elect Trump as well as from President Biden in terms of how their meeting went after it takes place.
All right, John, first things first, thank you for taking the time to join us this morning live from Berlin. And my question is, since they do represent the American people, why are we not privy to exactly everything that goes on in that room? Are they talking national secrets or what?
Well, they could be. You know, that's one of the reasons that the president-elect typically wants to meet with the president. Now, this is a very unusual situation in that the president-elect has had the job before. In fact, not only is he Joe Biden's predecessor, he is Joe Biden's successor. But I think that they want to give each other a readout in terms of where those trouble spots are around the world, where the state of the economy is, including according to government economists, and what it is that Joe Biden will be handing off to Donald Trump once he assumes office in January of next year.
And John, unlike President Obama, we know President-elect Donald Trump ran directly against Joe Biden until he stepped down. Of course, we all remember that abysmal debate performance by Joe Biden. And since then, on the campaign trail, obviously, President-elect Trump has not said very glowing things about President Biden. Do you think that might affect how each of them behaves in this one-on-one.
Well, it could be. Just a reminder, when President Obama met with President-elect Trump, you may recall out on the campaign trail, each of them were saying some very unkind things about each other. That's why we were expecting sort of an icy type of relationship that we would witness when we were in the Oval Office. And as you point out, Donald Trump ran against the Biden-Harris administration. But what's so interesting about this dynamic, to me, is that Joe Biden is meeting with Donald Trump. Joe Biden beat Donald Trump, and yet Donald Trump is succeeding Joe Biden. That is something that, you have to wrap your head around to understand all the dynamics that are going to take place a little bit later this morning.
Well, John, again, best of luck tonight in your speaking engagement. I'm sure, as always, you'll knock it out of the park. And just to echo Mr. T and Charity, we certainly appreciate your taking the time with us from Berlin this morning.
Absolutely. Of course. I'd love to contribute to your show, and I will speak to you every day next week when I get back to the United States. I'm looking forward to it. I love America. By the way, I'm about a few hundred yards away from the Brandenburg Gate, where President Reagan said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. So it's such a historic place to be in this city.
My goodness, that is so cool. Thank you so much. That is White House correspondent, attorney, member of the Supreme Court Bar, John Decker. He'll be with us every day next week. WOAI News Time, 726.
7:30 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, President-elect Trump and President Biden meet today at the White House, and another indication the Atlantic hurricane season is still active. We'll have details first, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this Wednesday, partly cloudy, a high in the upper 80s. Tonight's low near 55. Right now, 62 degrees. President-elect Trump will meet President Biden today at the White House. Here's Fox's Jessica Rosenthal with details.
After the election, President Biden said he'd invited President-elect Trump to the White House, and that meeting is set for today at 11 a.m.
There's going to be a pool spray at the top in the Oval Office before the meeting commences, and so you all and some of your colleagues will certainly have an opportunity to hear from or to see that, to see the two of them sitting down together.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre was asked what message President Biden wants to send with this invitation and sit down.
The importance of keeping the norms, the importance of having a transition that is going to be efficient. This is what the American people deserve.
She would not elaborate on any agenda items or topics of discussion. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Manhattan Judge Juan Merchan's agreed to grant a stay on all deadlines associated with sentencing Trump and his criminal hush money case. The decision means that Trump will not be sentenced on November 26 as expected and gives Judge Merchan time to evaluate the effect of Trump's reelection. Trump's senior advisor, Alina Habba, tells Fox's Hannity that the case should be dismissed completely.
It should be dismissed. It should never have been brought. And if Judge Merchan wants to have any dignity, any dignity from the American people in the robe, in the office of all attorneys and judges and the DOJ, he should stop this nonsense right away.
Trump was found guilty on 34 counts of falsifying business records relating to payments made to an adult film actress and attempts to cover up an extramarital affair. And Trump continues building his cabinet, choosing Fox's own Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. Here's more from Fox's Isa Hasney.
The president-elect says of Hegseth, nobody fights harder for the troops, and Pete will be a courageous and patriotic champion of our peace through strength policy. Now, Fox News Media has also put out a statement tonight that reads, Pete Hegseth has been an exceptional host on Fox and Friends and Fox Nation and a best-selling author of Fox News books for nearly a decade. His insights and analysis, especially about the military, resonated deeply with our viewers and made the program the major success that it is today. We are extremely proud of his work at Fox News Media and wish him the best of luck in Washington. Trump adding to his national security team, announcing former director of national intelligence John Ratcliffe will be the next CIA director.
And the Border Patrol apprehended below 54,000 migrants trying to cross into the United States in September, still well below 2020's all-time high. Tom Homan, who's been selected to be President-elect Trump's border czar, tells Fox News the Biden administration is making the situation look better than it really is, sacrificing quality.
If there's no overcrowding, there's nothing to see here, and we can keep saying the border is secure. So they have processed aliens and processed children so quickly. Children are going to unvetted sponsors. Aliens have been released before vetting came back from the FBI.
Meantime, Mexico's economy minister says that if the incoming Trump administration puts tariffs on Mexico, Mexico will respond in kind. President-elect Trump promised during the campaign to put 25% tariffs on all goods from Mexico unless the country stopped migrants and drugs from entering the U.S. and said he might go even higher. Marcelo Ebrard said in an interview that his country has the conditions to play in Mexico's favor. Mexico is the U.S. biggest trading partner. While Brad Simpson remains jailed in Bexar County on $2 million bond for the murder of his wife, Suzanne Clark Simpson, we're learning more details about her last hours. Here's Eric Lycum with more.
An unsealed, almost parked police arrest affidavit says Suzanne was last seen by a neighbor on October 6, arguing and physically struggling in front of their home. He says she broke away from Simpson and ran towards a wooded area. The neighbor went to get a flashlight when he heard screams, and then about an hour later, Brad's truck left and came back. The couple and the daughter were at a club earlier and seen arguing. She left with the daughter and went to an HEB and called a friend and went there, calling her mother along the way to report that she had been assaulted. Simpson had told police Suzanne was sleeping at the house the next day, but suspicious items were seen in his truck as he dropped off his daughter at school. Suzanne's body is yet to be recovered as the investigation unfolds. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
A tropical wave in the Caribbean could strengthen into a hurricane next week. The National Hurricane Center gives it a 90% chance of developing into a tropical system over the next 7 days. If it does become a hurricane, it would become Hurricane Sarah and on an uncertain path in the Gulf of Mexico. Projections show the potential storm could head towards Central America, South Florida, or out into the Atlantic. It is 7:37. Traffic and weather together in a minute. First, a check of your money and the world of business. Denise Pellegrini is live at the Bloomberg News Desk. All right, thanks, Denise. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather. San Antonio's first news, Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman. I'm Chris Duell. Well, 10 o'clock this morning, San Antonio time, President-elect Trump will sit down in the Oval Office with President Biden. Let's talk about it with national correspondent Rory O'Neill. Rory, do you think it will be a cordial exchange?
Cordial is about the best I think we're hoping for here. Remember when these two debated over the summer, they didn't even shake hands back then. But sort of bringing back the tradition, last week, Joe Biden invited the president-elect to come to the Oval Office. Joe Biden was not extended the similar invitation 4 years before. So this time they're trying to go back to the way things normally operate.
And Rory, there's a lot being made out of the fact that Melania Trump won't be there to do the traditional tea and tour with First Lady Jill Biden. But considering, I mean, this is not Melania's first rodeo, is it really necessary?
Well, look, none of it's necessary, right? But they are trying to show this peaceful transition of power. Now, the team for Melania Trump says it's a scheduling conflict, but I suggest you take a look at the New York Post today, which has a bit more juicier version of events, saying that Melania Trump, this is according to the Post, hates the Bidens for sending thugs to Mar-a-Lago to rummage through her underwear drawer.
Wow. Wow. So what else is on the agenda this morning?
Well, Donald Trump is also meeting with House Republicans. It looks like the Republicans will maintain their majority in the House, but the Trump administration will pluck at least two of those Republicans for jobs like National Security Advisor and UN Ambassador. There could be some more fallout depending on some of the other picks there. And probably maybe even talk to some members about the decision to name Pete Hegseth as the incoming defense secretary, which I think surprised a lot of people when that news broke last night.
Rory, any chance that President-elect Trump says to President Biden, "You're fired"?
Oh, boy. Well, I
thought I'd ask.
Yeah, look, there's going to be the press corps will do the photo op in the Oval Office. The two of them, you can picture them sitting in their chairs. Obama welcomed in Trump 8 years ago. That's when Obama said the biggest threat in security was North Korea. So little do we realize what would be happening this time around. So maybe there will be some sage advice exchanged between the two. Let's hope for the best.
Yeah, and Rory, Melania is not expected to spend a whole lot of time in the White House. I mean, like last time, I imagine it won't be her primary residence.
Well, it could be, she had the excuse back then was that she was staying in New York because Barron Trump was still in high school and she didn't want to pull him out of school. Now, of course, he's in college. So let's see if there's an excuse. Maybe she just likes Mar-a-Lago or Bedminster or New York. The White House isn't a bad place to rest your head at night.
Now, is there going to be a handshake or possibly a bro hug between Trump and Biden?
No bro hug.
Okay.
No bro. I think a handshake is likely, but again, they didn't even shake hands at the debate. And both of them had said the other one should be in prison right now.
Oh no! Yeah, gonna be a fascinating morning. We'll certainly keep an eye on it. Our thanks to national correspondent Rory O'Neill. Coming up, we'll get you caught up on headlines, traffic, and weather. Then we're going to hear from you on a Wembanyama Wednesday and a shot at Spurs tickets. Where would you take Victor Wembanyama? What restaurant would you take him to impress him and to show him a good time? Your talkback's coming right up. WOAI News Time, 7:44. just ahead of headlines, traffic, and weather together. And Mr. T, today is World Kindness Day, and you've got a special treat to be kind.
Yeah, what's better than, what's kinder than giving a PSA about adulting, something people might not know about. So here it is.
Warning: 60% of American workers are feeling exhausted, drained, and burnt out. This phenomena is also known as adulting.
It's the number one side effect of growing up. Symptoms of adulting include endless meetings, unpaid bills, and the sudden realization that naps are no longer part of your daily schedule.
Side effects of adulting include stress, random staring inside the fridge, and saying, "I'm so tired" 6 times a day. Consult your childhood before attempting adulting.
And Charity, I'm so tired, but what stories are you tracking?
Well, President Biden and President-elect Trump are set to meet in the Oval Office this morning. New details about the alleged murder of an Almas Park mother by her husband, and the seasonal ice rink returns to downtown San Antonio this week. We'll have more coming up. Right now, traffic and weather.
Partly cloudy today, highs in the mid 80s. Tomorrow and Friday, sunshine both days, highs in the upper 70s. It is 59 degrees in New Braunfels, Texas, 62 at Lackland Air Force Base, and 61 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time, 7:50.
San Antonio's first news, that is Mr. T, Tim Merriman. She's Charity McCurdy. I'm Chris Duell. And Charity, we have been asking the people this morning, based on the big news earlier in the week that a San Antonio restaurant received a Michelin star, which takes it and the city to a whole new level, with Victor Wembanyama in town. And it is Wembanyama Wednesday. And we do give away on Wembanyama Wednesday a family 4-pack of tickets to an upcoming Spurs game brought to you by Hill Country Honda.
Get more on 1604.
So, Charity, we thought we'd ask the people if you could take Victor Wembanyama to any restaurant in San Antonio, where would you take him? And that's our big question for the Spurs tickets.
Yeah, and listeners are providing their feedback on the free iHeartRadio app's TalkBack feature. Just search the radio station 1200 WOAI. Look for that red circle to sound off.
Yep, let's get right to it.
Good morning, everybody. Roro here. If I were to take Victor Wembanyama anywhere to eat, it would definitely be MK Davis. Get him a big, fat chicken fried steak, big, fat schooner. He'll be good and happy.
Yes, he will.
I'm going to win.
That is our second MK Davis. I like
Confidence, too.
Yeah, she
I love
called
it.
her shot. Wow. All right, here's another one.
Morning, WOAI. Insurance Papa here. For breakfast, I would take Victor to, of course, he's a big guy, so he needs something big. Roland's Tacos, the biggest in San Antonio. And then he'd be full, so I'd wait till dinner and obviously take him to the biggest pizza place in San Antonio because he's 20 years old. Who doesn't like pizza? Big Lou's Pizza. He needs a big 60-inch pizza. Thank you.
I would love to see him eat that. I'm not a fan of eating contests.
No.
But I would pay money to see Wemby somehow scarf all that down.
I have been there when they bring out one of those 60-inch, 48-inch, 60-inch pizzas and bring it to the table. And I'm thinking, how the hell are you going to eat this thing? Yeah. You have to have 2 paper plates, stacked together just to hold one slice.
My goodness.
Yeah. Wow. All right, here's another one.
Good morning, Tim, Freddie, and Chris. So we got to be all in with Wemby, right? And be puro San Antonio. Let's take them to our very own staple, Fred's Fish Fries, seafood platter number 2. That's right. you know he'll want to stay after that.
That's a staple.
That is a staple.
Yes.
That is a staple.
Pool
All right.
dog.
Let's check in with our pool guy.
Good morning, y'all. This is your pool guy, Marco. So we want to take Wemby to eat, huh? I'm really thinking he needs to be introduced to some really good Texas barbecue. And I think the best place in town is Two Brothers off of West Avenue. Oh, man. It's going to be good, Wemby. Y'all have a good one.
You wonder
Nice.
when Wemby goes to a restaurant, he doesn't order one item. He probably wants everything off the menu.
Yeah,
I mean, he has to have an enormous appetite.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Think about that. Y'all take this side of the menu. All right. That's just my appetizer. All right. Here's another one.
Hey guys, I would invite Mr. W to a San Antonio style backyard barbecue with handmade, homemade flour tortillas for the brisket and fajitas with spicy guacamole, and provide them with sounds like conjunto music, Flaco Jimenez, Texas Tornadoes, Latin Breed, Royal Jester, Sonny Ozuna, Little Joy La Familia.
Well, I'll tell you what, if he can't make it, we're available.
Yes.
You had me at the homemade tortillas.
Sounds very tempting.
With some butter.
Oh, my goodness.
Bring it
man.
on.
Yeah. All right. Here's a good one.
Master Rod here. Where would I take Wemby to go dine? Love all the ideas, but I'd keep it simple. I'd take him to the dining facility on Fort Sam, Houston. The food's not that great. It's all right, but the atmosphere is outstanding. He would love to meet with the soldiers, sailors, and airmen, and everyone would get a kick out of meeting a phenom. Thanks, San Antonio.
My goodness. Okay, now that is an outside the box idea
Wow.
with a whole lot of meaning. Wow.
Great idea.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. And here's one that's interesting.
Raina Etheridge here. I would take Wemby to Dairy Queen. Because I would love to see what Blizzard flavor he would choose.
She's cracking herself up.
That's what I like about Texas. Yeah.
Yes. Dairy Queen.
I love it. I love it.
All right. Here's one more.
Good morning, San Antonio news team. This is Cody from Floresville here. If I could take Victor Wembanyama anywhere to eat, it would be at my house. We'd have a nice, juicy steak, and then afterwards, we'd finish up the day getting his autograph all over my living room wall. Y'all have a great day. Thanks.
So you have to pay for his dinner there.
Tony
Yeah.
from Floresville. That's pretty self-serving.
That is.
Yeah,
But I like it.
I can take Wembanyama anywhere. I'm taking him to my house.
And I'm going to make him pay for his steak by signing my wall.
Lots of autographs. Good idea, Tony. All right.
Wow, man, this is tough. There's some good ones, man.
We're going to pick somebody before the end of the show, before 9 a.m., and give away a family 4-pack of tickets brought to us by Hill Country Honda.
Get more on 1604.
Yes, and I do want to talk later. I know Charity mentioned, once again, Charlie Parker was passed over by People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive.
Shocking.
So
They're not doing it right.
I'm a little angry. I'm a little angry at that, Charity.
They gave him an ultimatum. He had to shave his beard, and Charlie was like, "Nope, not
Yeah,
doing it.
sorry.
Not doing
Yeah,
it.
Not going to
So,
happen.
yeah.
We'll probably try to talk about the new Sexiest Man Alive coming up here in just a few. Charity has everything you need to know at the top of the hour. Mike Opelka at 8:20 coming up. WOAI News Time 7:57.
8 o'clock is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, President-elect Trump makes more cabinet selections, and today the Senate Republican leadership vote takes place. We'll have the latest right now, traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this Wednesday, partly cloudy, a high in the upper 80s. Tonight's low near 55. Get a move on, it is 62 degrees. President-elect Trump has announced a number of names to serve in his administration, including a very familiar one from Fox News. Here's Fox's Kristen Goodwin.
President-elect Trump choosing Fox News' Pete Hegseth to be his defense secretary. Hegseth is a combat veteran who served in Iraq and Afghanistan and co-host of the weekend edition of Fox and Friends. The president-elect choosing South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem to be his Homeland Security Secretary. Former Texas Congressman, federal prosecutor, and one-time director of national intelligence John Ratcliffe to lead the CIA. Also tapping billionaire supporter Elon Musk and former presidential primary rival Vivek Ramaswamy to lead what he calls the Department of Government Efficiency, a new outside government group he says will slash excess regulations, cut wasteful expenditures, and restructure federal agencies. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
President-elect Trump is putting an early focus on border security with his cabinet positions. His backers say this is a signal that immigration reform will be a major part of his administration.
He's serious about dealing with the Mexican cartels, and that is an absolute must that I am very happy to see.
Celine Rodriguez with the Texas Public Policy Foundation is cheering Trump's pick of Tom Homan for border czar. In addition, Trump is reportedly tapping his former immigration advisor, Stephen Miller, as a deputy chief of staff. Senate Republicans are set for a historic leadership election. Fox's Ron Schmelz has a preview from Capitol Hill.
A new top Senate Republican will be named for the first time since 2007, as Mitch McConnell, the longest-serving Senate leader in history, is stepping aside at the end of this Congress. McConnell hasn't endorsed anyone, but says he's happy the next leader is walking into a Senate majority.
I've been the majority leader, I've been the minority leader. Majority is a lot better.
Current whip and number 2 Senate Republican John Thune of South Dakota is facing off against former whip John Cornyn of Texas and Florida Senator Rick Scott. The elections will happen behind closed doors. On Capitol Hill, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
President Biden will host President-elect Trump today at the White House. According to a White House statement, the two are set to meet in the Oval Office at 10 a.m. Their get-together comes as Trump is working to fill those key posts in his upcoming administration. Melania Trump is not expected to meet First Lady Jill Biden for the traditional tea and tour. Her body is yet to be recovered, but an unsealed arrest affidavit is revealing more details about what the husband of the missing Almas Park mother was doing when she went missing. Eric Lycum has the very latest.
The affidavit alleges 53-year-old Brad Simpson's cell phone and truck GPS placed him driving around the day Suzanne Clark Simpson went missing. Surveillance video found him buying cement, trash bags, bleach, and a firewood rack at a Home Depot in Bernie and asking someone where the dump was. He was spotted on surveillance video heading to Medina and Bandera County with a large, bulky item wrapped in a blue tarp weighed down by the firewood rack, with the affiant alleging that was her body. When he came back from Medina, that blue tarp was gone. Texas Rangers with a search warrant found a burn pit on the Simpson property in Bandera County and recovered a burnt laptop and 3 cell phones. Simpson is charged with murder and being held on $2 million bond. Eric Lycum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Well, several Texas counties are getting their first taste of winter weather this week, and along with that comes worries about the state's embattled power grid.
The good news is, because of some regulations passed, the power plants themselves are more winterized.
UT Professor Michael Weber says there are still questions about the natural gas system, which can freeze. The operator of the Texas power grid put out a report earlier this month suggesting that there's an 80% chance of rolling blackouts if the state gets hit hit with something similar to Winter Storm Uri. The Rotary Ice Rink returns to downtown San Antonio this week for its 5th year. The grand opening is scheduled for Friday at 9:30 a.m. at Travis Park. It'll feature free cocoa, entertainment, and special guests. General admission is $15 a person with discounts for military members. The ice rink will be open every day through January 5th. It is 8:06. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Traffic and weather coming up.
San Antonio's first news, a big 8 o'clock hour is upon us at 8:40. 1200 WOAI reporter Eric Lycum with the latest in the Suzanne Simpson case, the missing Almas Park mom, and more damning evidence being unearthed on her husband, Brad Simpson. We'll talk about that. 8:20, Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast, his takes on the morning's big stories. And coming right up, a week after the presidential election, another election result was revealed. We'll let you know about that. We'll react to it as well. First, your traffic and weather together.
Partly cloudy today, highs in the mid 80s. Tomorrow and Friday, lots of sunshine, highs in the upper 70s, but it will be cold. Your overnight lows in the upper 40s tomorrow, mid to upper 50s on Friday. 63 degrees in Alamo Heights, 62 at Lackland Air Force Base, and 61 right here in Stone Oak. WOAI News Time 810.
San Antonio's first news, that's Mr. T. She's Charity. I'm Chris. EJ Pacheco, Andrew Zimmel, flying the Millennium Falcon this morning. Well, I think they wait until a week after the presidential election because they don't want to upstage the presidential election. I'm talking about, of course, People Magazine's Sexiest Man Alive. And the big reveal has been done. Who would it be? George Clooney, Travis Kelce, Charlie Parker. Well, we have the results.
Without further ado, Joe, a drum roll, please. This year's People's Sexiest Man Alive is John Krasinski.
Hey there, my future sexies. It's me, certified sexiest man alive, John Krasinski.
Certified?
He is now certified sexy. John Krasinski. And Charity, we have to defer to you on this one. Is this Charity McCurdy approved? Is he the sexiest man alive?
Sexiest man alive. I find him attractive. I don't know if I would give him that crown. I don't know. But then again, he resembles UTSA Roadrunners head coach Jeff Traylor a little bit. So I think he gets more points for being married to British actress Emily Blunt, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Maybe that's where he comes up with the sexiest man alive, because they're looking at his arm candy and going, wait a minute, he's got to have something.
See, that's why I thought Travis Kelce had a shot, because you look at his arm candy.
That's true.
And you would think
That's true.
he's got something going on.
But John Krasinski's more of the man next door, versus the girl next door. He's, I could see him being your friendly neighbor.
Yeah, I could see him being a friend, but I just
lend me some sugar.
Yeah, but seriously, I don't consider him sexy. He just doesn't do it for me. I'm just saying.
Well, but you and I, Mr. T, probably not the best judges of sexy men.
Well, thank you for that, Chris.
I mean,
no, not really. Thank you.
Who am I?
No, thank you.
Who am I? Who am I to disparage your sexy radar? The fact that sexy is in the eye of the beholder. I think we're all qualified to judge sexiness, aren't we?
And personality has a lot to do with sexiness, I think. So that may be a factor in their decision.
Well, he got her, so he's doing something right.
He is doing
He's
something.
obviously doing something right. Yeah. So who knows?
Now, when I hear Charity say that John Krasinski reminds her of UTSA head football coach Jeff Traylor, it makes me wonder, should we have a sexiest man in San Antonio vote? And would Jeff Traylor win it, or would Randy Beamer?
Hands down, Randy Beamer for me.
How are you going to top Randy Beamer for sexiest man in San Antonio?
Mustache Randy or without mustache? Because mustache Randy is not even a contest.
Well, Charity, if you had to choose a sexier Randy Beamer, would it be mustache Randy from the 1980s, or would it be post-mustache Randy?
Polar Pop Randy.
I'm going to go clean shaven, because that means you see more of Randy's face. So I'm going to go with clean shaven Randy Beamer.
See, I like mustache Randy.
But he can work both. He can do it. Anything.
So here's what he should do: is just have half a mustache. That way, when he
Not
looks at me, he
recommended.
can turn this way, and I just see the mustache. When he talks to you, he turns this way, and you don't see it. So he's pleasing both of us.
Okay.
Very nice. Well, a man in the sexiest man in San Antonio competition. He used to go to Trinity University. Mike Opelka might be in the running. He joins us coming up from the Pure Opelka podcast. We'll get Mike's thoughts on everything in the news today, including the meeting between President-elect Trump and President Biden, which takes place in less than 2 hours. Mike Opelka coming right up. WOAI News Time, 8:14. Coming up, Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast, his takes on the morning's big stories. Speaking of those big stories, Charity McCurdy, which ones are you following?
We have the latest on President-elect Trump's cabinet selections. Senate Republicans are poised to select their new leader today, and new details about what led police to charge Brad Simpson with the murder of his Almas Park wife. We'll have more coming up. Right now, traffic and weather.
Partly cloudy today, highs in the mid 80s. Tomorrow and Friday, lots of sunshine, highs in the upper 70s. 61 degrees in Kerrville, Texas. 62 in Alamo Heights and 61 right here at the Radio Ranch. WOAI News Time 820.
San Antonio's first news. He is the pride of Trinity University and the runner-up to John Krasinski for People's Sexiest Man Alive. Mike Opelka from the Pure Opelka podcast, brought to us by Randy Adams Incorporated. Mike, are you demanding a recount for your barely losing to John Krasinski for Sexiest Man Alive?
No, I'm just demanding to know how my wife voted. Because if it was that close, she's a gigantic John Krasinski fan. Oh, he's so great with his wife. Don't they make a perfect couple? They're the best. Yeah. So I see him in the halls and I go, Krasinski.
All right, Mike, I got to ask you, with President-elect Trump making these cabinet selections, we hear Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are going to head the Department of Government Efficiency. So, Kianis Macho, you see these two getting along?
I do. And I love the classic SNL reference. ¿Quiénes más macho? Ricardo Montalbán or Fernando Lamas? Well, in this case, Elon and Vivek both pull out their bank statements, and Elon's got them by a mile.
Yes.
But the interesting thing here is the Department of Government Efficiency, or whatever they're calling it.
Can you even use those words together?
It's sorry?
Can you use those words together? Government efficiency?
Maybe in about a year.
Okay.
But it's not really going to put them as government officials. They're not really employees. They're advisors. So this is going to be a real curious thing. Will they be able to get much done? And I think this appointment of these advisory roles is one that could show a new trend in government, where we bring people in from the business world and have them look at stuff and go, "Are you kidding me? Why is this happening?" And then we allow the president or the people that oversee those agencies to take action. I don't think there's going to be a big ego problem here. Vivek will handle most of the communication end. He has success in the business world, but nobody's got success like Elon. So the clarity of Elon Musk to finding problems and then solving them, and the ability to do the administrative work, I think it's a great pair.
Will there be a handshake or a bro hug this morning between Trump and Biden?
Oh, it's fist bump all the way.
Fist bump? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, fist bump. Because neither one of those guys wonders or knows where the other guy's hands are.
Well, and
Mike, Charity, I'm just saying we don't know if they washed before.
Okay.
Wow.
I got that eye roll from Charity. Rolled her eyes so far she saw her brain right there.
And Mike, earlier in the summer, you revealed to us that you were once invited to a P. Diddy birthday party. You did not attend, and you were never invited to a freak off. But I understand he is request, or at least has permission to request bail a third time in his sex trafficking case. Do you think he has a snowball's chance in hell?
I don't think so, Chris. I'm just amazed that you get another shot. You go up before a judge and you say, "Hey, Your Honor, we'd like bail." And the judge goes, "Look at all this evidence." No. And then you come back a couple weeks later, there's more evidence, and you say, Judge, can we get some bail? And you not even close. And there have been, I believe, at least 7 more lawsuits with credible and horrific charges in them. And you're going to ask a judge again. I'd like to be a little more comfortable until May 5th. And I'm thinking the judge is going to say no, but we never know in this world.
And my Trump lawyer, Alina Habba, is being floated as a possible pick for White House press secretary. And I could see it, but I mean, doesn't she already have a pretty cushy gig?
A lot of these people have cushy gigs, Charity. Yes, she does. But we'll see, because, you know, if she was relying on all her work as Trump's lawyer, many of those cases are going to go away. But the other question is, if you're making millions a year and you're going to get a government gig paying $265,000, is that the best thing to do? Pete Hegseth has already shown us the way. He's stepping away from a 7-figure gig to be Secretary of Defense. So I guess the answer is, when the president calls, you have to answer.
Yeah, and there was a massive explosion at a factory in Kentucky that left 12 injured. That is so sad. But what I don't understand is this factory was manufacturing natural food coloring. So what was the hazardous material thing?
Yeah, this just makes Bobby Kennedy's statements a lot more clear, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
it does.
We talk about, yeah, this thing was making the coloring for your Trix and your Cheerios and your Fruit Loops. Why is that exploding, and what is it doing in my stomach?
Yeah,
that's what I want to know. I don't know the process of manufacturing these dyes, but it certainly does bring into the discussion a lot of questions about what we're putting in our foods.
Amen.
Finally, Mike, James Carville, kind of the ultimate Democratic operative, always entertaining whether you agree with him or not. And he's had some interesting words and analysis as to why the Democrats lost so bad.
I still think he's from another planet. I still think Carville landed here and got out of a little spacecraft, put on an LSU jersey and a hat and those glasses, which are like goggles to, you know, confuse us with his alien eyes. And then Mary Madeline was hypnotized by him and they married. You notice there's no offspring.
Yeah.
So that validates my theory. But we would love to play some of the Carville clips, but he curses so much you can't. The weirdest thing in this this latest Carville statement, before the election, he said Kamala Harris was going to mop the floor with Trump. And now he's saying, well, it's obvious why she didn't. But there's a cat crying in the background throughout the whole thing. Like there's some kind of Haitian family chasing him around the apartment where Carville lives. I don't know what the heck is going on there. It's just really weird.
Yeah, you have to go on social media and see for yourself. Speaking of media, you can get more Mike Opelka from his Pure Opelka podcast. Get it wherever you get your podcast. We recommend the free iHeartRadio app. Another episode will drop this morning. You don't want to miss it. Mike's brought to us by Randy Adams Incorporated. Coming up at 8:40, 1200 WOAI reporter Eric Lycum with the latest on the missing Almas Park mom, Suzanne Simpson, and the case against her husband, Brad Simpson. That's coming right up. WOAI News Time, 8:26. Trump Force One is landing.
Yeah, Travis, they're messing with us on the time, on the temperature in this studio. It was freezing earlier, and now it's back to normal. Yeah. It's ridiculous, man. I'm glad you like that PSA. I didn't know you were still on here. I would have told you. I was going to send it to you. You bet. No problem, Travis.
.32 is our time. San Antonio's first news. Good Wednesday morning. I'm Charity McCurdy. Among our top stories, President-elect Trump and President Biden meet today at the White House, and more on the alleged murder of an Almas Park mother. We'll have details, first traffic and weather together every 10 minutes in mornings. Your weather forecast for this Wednesday, partly cloudy, a high in the upper 80s. Tonight's low 55, right now 64 degrees. President-elect Trump will meet President Biden at the White House today. Fox's Jessica Rosenthal has more.
After the election, President Biden said he'd invited President-elect Trump to the White House, and that meeting is set for today at 11 a.m.
There's going to be a pool spray at the top in the Oval Office before the meeting commences. And so you all and some of your colleagues will certainly have an opportunity to hear from or to see that, to see the two of them sitting down together.
White House spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre was asked what message President Biden wants to send with this invitation and sit down.
The importance of keeping the norms, the importance of having a transition that is going to be efficient. This is what the American people deserve.
She would not elaborate on any agenda items or topics of discussion. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
Senate Republicans are poised to select their new leader today. South Dakota's John Thune, Texas's John Cornyn, and Florida's Rick Scott are vying to be the party's leader in the upper chamber. They're all looking to replace Kentucky's Mitch McConnell, who's stepping aside as Republican leader. President-elect Trump, meantime, continues to build his cabinet, choosing Fox's own Pete Hegseth for Secretary of Defense. Here's Fox's Aisha Hasni.
The president-elect says of Hegseth, nobody fights harder for the troops, and Pete will be a courageous and patriotic champion of our peace through strength policy. Now, Fox News Media has also put out a statement tonight that reads, Pete Hegseth has been an exceptional host on Fox and Friends and Fox Nation and a best-selling author of Fox News books for nearly a decade. His insights and analysis, especially about the military, resonated deeply with our viewers and made the program the major success that it is today. We are extremely proud of his work at Fox News Media and wish him the best of luck in Washington. Trump adding to his national security team, announcing former director of national intelligence John Ratcliffe will be the next CIA director.
Meantime, the former Massachusetts Air National Guardsman who admitted to leaking classified military documents has been sentenced to 15 years in prison. Jack Teixeira appeared in Boston federal court yesterday, where a judge handed down his sentence for violating the Espionage Act. Teixeira admitted to sharing the classified information with other users on the social media platform Discord. While Brad Simpson remains jailed in Bexar County on $2 million bond for the murder of his wife, Suzanne Clark Simpson, we're learning more details about her last hours. Here's Eric Lycum.
An unsealed, almost parked police arrest affidavit says Suzanne was last seen by a neighbor on October 6, arguing and physically struggling in front of their home. He says she broke away from Simpson and ran towards a wooded area. The neighbor went to get a flashlight when he heard screams, and then about an hour later, Brad's truck left and came back. The couple and the daughter were at a club earlier and seen arguing. She left with the daughter and went to an HEB and called a friend and went there, calling her mother along the way to report that she had been assaulted. Simpson had told police Suzanne was sleeping at the house the next day, but suspicious items were seen in his truck as he dropped off his daughter at school. Suzanne's body is yet to be recovered as the investigation unfolds. Eric Lankum, News Radio 1200 WOAI.
Boat owners are trying to figure out how to get their boats out of Canyon Lake as the water level continues to sink to record lows. A private boat ramp is still operating for customers at Canyon Lake Marina, but all public ramps are closed. As of Tuesday evening, the lake was down 27 feet below its full level of 909 feet above sea level. The Texas Water Development Board says the lake is just over 52% full. The lake hasn't been that low since the mid-1960s when it was first being filled. It is 8:37. Traffic and weather in a minute, but first, a check of your money and the world of business. We welcome in Denise Pellegrini live at the Bloomberg News Desk. Yeah. Thanks, Denise. News at the top and bottom of every hour, along with breaking news as it happens. I'm Charity McCurdy. Here's traffic and weather.
San Antonio's first news. Charity McCurdy, Mr. T, Tim Merriman. I'm Chris Duell. You just heard his report in the newscast at the bottom of the hour. 1200 WOAI reporter Eric Lycum has been covering the case of missing Almas Park mom Suzanne Simpson and the growing evidence against her husband, Brad Simpson. We welcome in Eric right now. Eric, you've been covering this story from the get-go, but we learned a lot more in the last 24 hours. What stood out to you as perhaps the most compelling evidence?
Yeah, it's funny you should ask that, because the same thing that you asked me before, and that is, I can't believe that somebody would think that they could get away with this with all the video that's out there. And this is exactly what we're seeing playing in the affidavit that was written by Almas Park Police Lieutenant Hector Ruiz. All the places that they have spotted where Brad Simpson was, for instance, the Whataburger, the Home Depot, the Valero Stripes, the Kendall County Solid Waste, and then the early childhood center where he dropped. I mean, all that stuff the cops have been able to find. And then, of course, all the places that he went to, they have video surveillance. So, I mean, they pretty much got him dead to right on a lot of this stuff.
And Eric, it sounds like Brad Simpson can't keep his story straight with police. He's made contradictory statements about the last time he saw his wife. And we all know the saying, a liar has to have a good memory.
Right, exactly. And, it's funny because I'm wondering, is this a case of a simple guy who's just jealous and a toxic male? Or is there something more to the story? Is there something that maybe she knew that he didn't want her to know, or something? There may be something else. I mean, there's just more questions than answers. One of the questions I had, and then Jordan Elder from News 4 had as well, is that what did Brad want in exchange for cooperation? All we've heard about is no cooperation, no cooperation. So did he have something in exchange for cooperation, or did he not have anything that the cops think was worth trying to bargain with him for?
Well, with all these surveillance photos they have of him and following where he was going and all that, they still don't have an idea where this body might be?
As far as we know, at least what they've told us now, I mean, there's that burn pit that they found at their property in Medina in Bandera County. They didn't say anything about any remains being found there or anything, but there's still more questions than answers regarding this case, and I'm still very curious about why they haven't said anything about what he would do to cooperate.
And a number of times, as you know, Eric, his brother, Barton Tinsley Simpson, has posted on social media His most recent post, he says, "It is our sincere hope and prayer that Brad will find the compassion and courage to end his family's suffering by cooperating with authorities to help find his wife." You would think this guy, Eric, would want to at least end the suffering for his 4 children, having to go through this, losing their mom like this.
Yeah, you would think so, but you and I don't know the mind of a person who commits these sort of activities, these sort of alleged crimes. And I can't help but wonder, is there something more to this that we don't know that motivated him to do this other than just what appears to be an outright act of simple jealousy? I just think there's more to the story. And this is going to be increasingly interesting as these details get revealed.
Well, we thank you for your great reporting, and we know you're going to stay on the story. 1200 WOAI reporter Eric Lycum. Coming up, we narrowed it down to 3. We're going to pick somebody for a family 4-pack of Spurs tickets provided to us by Hill Country Honda.
Get more on 1604.
It is Wembanyama Wednesday. Here we go. We'll get you caught up on traffic, weather, and the headlines as well. WOAI News Time, 8:45. Where would you take Victor Wembanyama out to eat? What restaurant? We're going to pick a winner coming up for some Spurs tickets. First, Charity, what stories are you following?
Today, Trump and Biden meet at the White House. Senate Republicans vote today on their new leader, and an arrest affidavit lays bare the evidence police used to file murder charges against the husband of a missing Almas Park mother. We'll have details right now, traffic and weather.
Partly cloudy skies today, highs in the mid 80s. Tomorrow and Friday, sunshine both days, highs in the upper 70s both days, but it will cool off. Overnight lows tomorrow in the upper 40s, and then on Friday in the mid to upper 50s. 64 degrees in New Braunfels, Texas, 64 at Fort Sam Houston, and 63 here at the Radio Ranch. WOAI News Time, 8:51.
San Antonio's first news. It is a Wembanyama Wednesday, and we were inspired by San Antonio's first Michelin star restaurant. Earlier in the week, we learned that Michelin, the progressive Mexican restaurant in Southtown, gets a Michelin star. So we thought, on a Wembanyama Wednesday, if you were going to take Victor Wembanyama out to a restaurant in San Antonio, where would you take him? And we're going to pick a winner now. We've narrowed it down to 3. The winner is going to win a family 4-pack of tickets to see an upcoming Spurs game, brought to you by Hill Country Honda.
Get more on 1604.
And Mr. T, you've got it narrowed down to 3.
Yes, here is the first finalist, Gary.
Hello, this is Gary. A good place to take Wemby is to a little hole-in-the-wall restaurant, grab them after practice, and go down to Rudy's Seafood on South Flores. As soon as you arrive, you'll see large murals on the outside of the Admiral and the Big Three, Tim, Tony, and Manu. Inside, a whole bunch of paintings of different Spurs players and loaded with Spurs paraphernalia. Food is really good. I recommend getting the jumbo fish burger. The only downfall is they also have some Cowboys para.
Oh, yes. Para.
Yeah, my former favorite football team, the Cowboys. No more.
All right, here's another one. This is Rena.
Rena Etheridge here. I would take Wemby to Dairy Queen. Because I would love to see what Blizzard flavor he would choose.
I just crack up because
Yeah, I
she's
don't like
laughing. I wonder what Blizzard flavor he would choose.
a great
That's
question.
a great question. Maybe another talk back at another time.
Yeah.
All right, here's the finest one, Lewis.
Master Rod here. Where would I take Wemby to go dine? Love all the ideas, but I'd keep it simple. I'd take him to the dining facility on Fort Sam Houston. You know, the food's not that great. It's all right, but the atmosphere is outstanding. He would love to meet with the soldiers, sailors, and airmen, and everyone would get a kick out of meeting a phenom. Thanks, San Antonio.
My goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, like that one a lot, too. All right, Charity, we got to pick a winner here. You had Gary, Rudy's Seafood on South Flores, Rena, Dairy Queen, to see what Blizzard Wemby would have, and Lewis, the Fort Sam Houston dining facility. Which one you want to pick?
I got to go with Rena, keeping it country, keeping it Texas. Dairy Queen wants to know Wemby's favorite Blizzard flavor, and I wonder if you turned it upside down
Oh,
as
of course.
well. Yeah.
Of course you would.
Okay.
Yeah,
Rena
but
gets a vote.
they have to get on a ladder to get it to him.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Mr. T, what do you got?
Oh, man, this is tough. I like Gary and Rudy's Seafood and all the Spurs stuff, and I like Reno with the Blizzard, but I got to go with Lewis, Fort Sam.
Lewis, I
took it outside the box,
He
Chris.
sure did, and I love Rena and Gary as well. But thinking about Wemby sitting down with the troops, and he mentioned Army soldiers. There are airmen eating there.
Yep.
There are Navy personnel eating there as well.
Wouldn't that be cool if we could actually make that happen?
Oh,
man.
that would be
Wouldn't
amazing.
that be great?
Would be cool. I got to go with you on this one, T.
Okay,
Got to go
cool.
with Lewis. Lewis is going to be our winner.
That's a great one.
Thanks to everybody, Rena, Gary, everybody else. We loved them. Thanks so much for jumping in with us today. Tomorrow, we will react to what we learned from the meeting between President-elect Donald Trump and President Joe Biden in the Oval Office. That meeting's in about an hour and 5 minutes. It's at 10 a.m. Coming up, you have got Glenn Beck and the Glenn Beck program. Charity's got all the big stories you need to know about at the top of the hour. But right now, your Sean Hannity Morning Minute, WOAI News Time, 8:56.
Everybody have a great day, and we will be back together tomorrow.
Adios.
Bye.